Immortal family of the Clear River. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201, Mountain Closure and Martial Law. The biggest event that happened in Qing County in the past 5 years was naturally the Wang family leader Wang Shengxin's breakthrough to the Golden Core realm. No one in the entire Qing County had cultivated to this level for almost 300 years. Wang Shengxin could be said to be a rare genius cultivator in Qing County in the past few hundred years. After 3 years of seclusion, Wang Shengxin really triggered the heaven and earth phenomena that only occurred when the Dan was formed in Taiyuan Mountain. Unfortunately, the phenomena slowly dissipated in less than an hour. If the Dan was successfully formed, the heaven and earth phenomena would last for at least several days. Wang Shengxin's dam formation phenomenon only lasted for an hour this time, so it was naturally a failure without any surprise. The heaven and earth phenomena triggered by the dam formation were very conspicuous, and cultivators dozens of miles away could see them. The news spread throughout Qing County within a few days. When Qingming heard the news that Wang Shengxin failed to form a den, he also sighed. Even Wang Shengxin, a genius who appeared only once in a few hundred years in Qing County, was not sure about forming a den. It can be seen that it is indeed more difficult for cultivators to form a den than he had thought before. After the failure of the den formation, since Wang Shengxin had not appeared in the past 2 years, many people in Qinghefang had spread rumors that Wang Shengxin was seriously injured this time, which made Qingming somewhat confused about the situation in the past 2 years. So he took this opportunity to test Wang Shengyu's situation. It was not until he just confirmed from Wang Shengyu that Wang Shengxin was fine that Qingming finally felt much more at ease. Although Wang Shengxin's lifespan was not much, if he really found a spiritual object like the longevity fruit in the Taiyu secret realm, which would increase his lifespan by more than 10 years, Wang Shengxin might have a chance to form a den in the future. This was indeed very critical for the Wang family, and it was worth it for them to try their luck in the Taiyu secret realm. In short, as long as Wang Shengxin did not have any major accidents, Qing County would be able to at least be stable for a few more decades. The stability of Qing County was not only important to the Wang family, but also very beneficial to the Song family, which was developing rapidly in recent years. I really don't know the details. My question just now was abrupt. I hope fellow Taoist Wang don't mind. Seeing that Wang Shengyu seemed a little unhappy in his tone, Qingming quickly opened his mouth to apologize. Wang Shengyu didn't care much about Qingming's apology. He smiled and shook his head, then reminded Qingming, fellow Taoist Song, this Taiyu secret realm is a rare opportunity for us foundation-building cultivators that only come once in decades. Not to mention the life-extending spiritual objects that even those giant cultivators would be tempted by. As long as we can find a few third-order spiritual objects, maybe we can save us more than 10 years of hard training. Would you like to come with us to take a look this time? Qingming nodded slightly, thought for a while and said, the secret realm you just mentioned will not be open for another half a year. Could I think about it carefully? I will send the new jade to Xiaoyao sect in a few days and then come back to give you an answer. What do you think? It is natural for fellow Taoist Song to consider it. My Wang family also needs to make some preparations. There is no rush. This time I came here to remind fellow Taoist Song in advance, so that you don't miss this opportunity. Wang Shengyu didn't seem too surprised to see that Qingming didn't reply in a hurry. The two chatted for a while. Seeing that it was getting late, Wang Shengyu reminded Qingming of the things he needed to pay attention to after going to Xiaoyao sect, and then said goodbye and left Funiu Mountain. After seeing Wang Shengyu off, Qingming did not tell others about this matter, and returned to his cave alone. Alice. Who doesn't want high-level spiritual objects? But this secret realm is so dangerous that even giant cultivators will die in it. What's the use of my cultivation level? This opportunity should be left to you ambitious people. The reason why Qingming did not directly accept Wang Shengyu's invitation this time was naturally that he did not want to take this risk with their Wang family. To be honest, when he heard Wang Shengyu talking about the good things in the secret realm just now, Qingming was indeed a little tempted in his heart, but now he has no shortage of spiritual stones for cultivation, and he has not reached the situation where he needs to worry about his lifespan like Wang Shengxin, so he naturally does not want to take this risk to be cannon fodder for others. Although the treasures in this secret realm are good, they may not belong to him. After Song Zinayu successfully joined Xiaoyao sect, he would think of a way to see if he could turn down this difficult matter without offending the Wang family. After getting the help and recommendation from Wang Shengyu, 2 days later, Song Qingming took Song Zinayu to Xiaoyao sect. Song Zinayu's cultivation was only at the 4th level of Qi Refining. In order to take care of him, Song Qingming could only take the initiative to slow down the speed of flying the sword. The uncle and nephew walked for 7 or 8 days before arriving at Qi Mountain. Just as they were approaching 100 miles from Qi Mountain, a foundation-building cultivator wearing a black Taoist robe from Xiaoyao sect suddenly flew out from one side and nervously stepped forward to stop Song Qingming. "Where is this Taoist from? What brings you to Xiaoyao sect?" Song Qingming stopped and quickly replied, "I am from Qing County, Jiangling County. I am here to send a junior from my family to join Xiaoyao sect." The black-robed monk slowly relaxed when he heard that Song Qingming was sending someone to become his disciple. He pointed to Yangshan Square not far away and said, "Qi Mountain is under martial law. You can't go any further. You can go to Yangshan Square to register first. Someone will receive you too." Song Qingming was a little surprised after hearing this. He was about to ask again, but he saw that the other party seemed to be reluctant to talk to him. He could only nod and bow. Then he turned around and went to Yangshan Square with Song Zinayu. As soon as he entered the market, Song Qingming found that there were many more Xiaoyao sect monks guarding here. With such a big battle, even Qi Mountain was under martial law. It was obvious that something big must have happened in Xiaoyao sect. When registering at the Xiaoyao sect's guest house, Song Qingming took the opportunity to ask a young Qi refining cultivator from the Xiaoyao sect who was on duty there what happened in the mountain, but he found nothing. Now that Qi Mountain has been closed and martial law has been imposed, it is unknown when Song Zinayu can be sent there, so Song Qingming can only find an inn to settle down first. After finishing all these, Song Qingming came to the Xiandan Pavilion in Yangshan Feng alone. Not long after entering the door, a waiter who was somewhat familiar with him saw Song Qingming and quickly ran to the second floor to report. Then a louder voice came down from the second floor. "Fellow Taoist Song, it's been a long time since we last met. I just refined a furnace of second-level elixir a few months ago. Fellow Taoist, come with me to take a look." While speaking, Deng Zhongkuo had already walked down from the second floor of the Xiandan Pavilion, smiling and stretching out his hand to make a gesture of invitation to Song Qingming. Song Qingming smiled and nodded, and followed him to the secret room in the back hall. After several waiters served the tea and helped the two to close the door, Song Qingming asked directly, "Fellow Taoist Deng, I came to Xiaoyao sect this time to send a junior to Qi Mountain, but I don't know why Xiaoyao sect suddenly closed the mountain and imposed martial law. Taoist friend, do you know what happened on Qi Mountain?" "Well, to be honest, I only know a little bit. I heard that someone on Qi Mountain is trying to reach the Jiandan realm again. This time the commotion is quite big. It has been under martial law for almost half a month, which has caused their business to be much worse recently." At this point, Deng Zhongkuo shook his head at Song Qingming. Xiaoyao sect's recent closure of the mountain and martial law seemed to have a great impact on their Xiandan Pavilion's business. "Brother, do you know which fellow Taoist in Xiaoyao sect is forming a pill?" Hearing the news that someone in Xiaoyao sect was forming a pill, Song Qingming asked again with some curiosity in his heart. Chapter 202 Vision. "Fellow Taoist Song, since you ask this, I really don't know. You know that we in Xiandan Pavilion are all businessmen. How dare we ask about such important events of Xiaoyao sect? However, seeing the big commotion on the mountain this time, I estimate that the chances of the cultivators who have formed a golden elixir this time should be quite high. It seems that Xiaoyao sect will have another golden elixir cultivator in the near future. You really envy me. I have been practicing Taoism for so many years, but I have never seen anyone forming a golden elixir. That's why I asked a few more questions out of curiosity. I hope you won't blame me." Song Qingming's eyes were full of envy, and he smiled and explained. After asking so much, Song Qingming finally understood the reason why Xiaoyao sect suddenly closed the mountain and imposed martial law this time. "Haha. Fellow Taoist Song, don't worry. Xiaoyao sect is so nervous now. It must be that the person who has formed a pill on the mountain has reached the final stage of forming a pill. It is estimated that there will be results in half a month at most. Then, fellow Taoist can enter Qi Mountain. Seeing that Song Qingming had never seen the scene of forming a pill, the old man stroked the beard at the corner of his mouth, smiled and comforted him again. Thank you for your guidance, Senior Deng. It seems that I really need to stay in the market for a few more days. I actually have another question this time. The pill I bought from you last time has been working normally since I went back. I don't know why I found that the effect has been much worse when I took it for cultivation recently. Senior, do you know why this is the case? After saying that, Song Qingming took out the remaining elixir in his mouth and put it on the table. Deng Xiaokuo's face changed after hearing this. He carefully took the pills that Song Qingming took out and took a look at them. Then his face gradually eased up. He took a sip of tea and said to him with a smile, "There is no problem with the quality of these pills. They can still be taken normally. As for the decreased effect, I guess it is because Brother Song has improved his cultivation now, and this kind of pill is most effective for cultivators who have just established their foundation. Now that your cultivation has improved and your Danshan mana has increased, it is normal to feel that the effect is not as good as before. I think Brother Taoist should try my pills of better quality. I guarantee that the effect will satisfy you. Don't worry, our store can directly exchange these remaining pills for new pills at an equivalent value. What do you think of this? I see. Let's do as Brother Taoist said. Please help me exchange all of them for pills suitable for my current use." Song Qingming nodded with a smile and agreed to Old Man Deng's suggestion. After another half an hour and spending more than 1,000 spirit stones, Song Qingming finally walked out of the Xiandan pavilion. Facing a cunning businessman like Old Man Deng, he really had no resistance. If he didn't have enough spirit stones, he would have to mortgage his magic tools here. After buying some new pills in the Xiandan pavilion, Song Qingming went to the material shop next to it and bought some second-level talisman-making materials before returning to the inn. Although he had come to Yangshanfeng several times in the past few years. In addition to purchasing pills for cultivation, he also participated in several auctions held by the Xiandan League once a year. He is now an old customer of the Xiandan League and has obtained the qualification to go to the second floor. He has participated in all the auctions in the past few years. The Xiandan League auction not only auctions their own pills, but also collects commissions to help the monks who participate in the auction to auction other magic tools and spiritual objects. When Song Qingming first participated in the auction, most of the fine magic tools that were auctioned were in this situation. 2 years ago, he was short of spiritual stones, so he took out a few drops of Millennium spiritual milk and gave them to Xiandan League for auction. Unexpectedly, this little Millennium spiritual milk caused a sensation at the auction, earning him 5,000 spiritual stones at once. Although Xiandan League has kept the privacy of its guests very confidential, the appearance of such a rare and precious spiritual object as Millennium spiritual milk still attracted the attention of many people at that time. Song Qingming even heard someone asking about the origin of this spiritual object. Afterwards, although he successfully left the auction with the help of the separate teleportation array prepared by Xiandan League, he still has some fear in his heart until now. He has not participated in the auction in the past 2 years. Even now, every time he comes to Xiandan Pavilion, Song Qingming is a little afraid that Old Man Deng will guess this. Since his cultivation level has been raised to the foundation building stage, the spiritual stones required for Song Qingming's daily cultivation have increased a lot. Just making those low-level spiritual talismans has gradually failed to keep up with the speed at which he consumes spiritual stones. In the past few years, Song Qingming has also started to buy high-level talisman-making materials and try to make second-level talismans. However, his talent in talisman-making has never been very high. It's just that practice makes perfect. After paying a cost of several thousand spirit stones and trying many times, he barely made a few second-level spirit talismans of average quality, but still failed to improve his talisman-making level to level 2. The spirit stones and elixirs required for daily practice, the investment in improving talisman-making skills, and the need to feed Xian Huipen, a glutton, soon made Song Qingming's spirit stones a little tight. Although the family has gradually improved over the years, and he will be subsidized with a little spirit stone every year, it is just a drop in the bucket for him. In the end, after hesitating again and again, Song Qingming chose to take a risk and sold a few drops of 1,000-year-old spirit milk at the Xiandan League auction in exchange for spirit stones. After the auction, Song Qingming thought about it and soon calmed down. He decided that he could not continue to take the risk to exchange for spirit stones. He began to save money and reduce his own spirit stone expenses, reduced his investment in talisman making, and even reduced the food for Xianhuipen. Speaking of Xianhuipen, Song Qingming has invested thousands of spirit stones. Now he has just broken through to the late stage of Qi refining. His strength is not as good as that of ordinary late-stage cultivators. It is not known when he will be promoted to the second level. Its biggest role now is to occasionally carry the family's cultivators to travel between Qinghefeng and Funiu. The initial investment and return are really not proportional. Song Qingming has gradually reduced this part of the investment in recent years. The spirit stones given to Wang Xian for its cultivation have changed from 3 spirit stones per day to 1 spirit stone now. After Song Qingming reduced the investment in spirit stones, Wang Xian had no choice but to reduce the amount of pills used to cultivate it as much as possible. However, every month she would still take Dian Hopeng to Funiu Mountain to hunt a few low-level monsters to cultivate its hunting ability. Now Song Qingming mainly needs to improve his cultivation. He really doesn't have too many resources to cultivate spirit beasts. He can only wait until he is rich in the future to consider how to help Dian Hopeng to level 2. After some adjustments, Song Qingming slowly changed his habit of wasting spirit stones. In addition to daily cultivation and the required elixirs, he no longer paid attention to other rare spirit objects as before. He participated in the Xiandan League auction several times and only bought a few elixirs to improve his cultivation. After a few years of keeping a low profile, Song Qingming finally became more well-off. He has only been building his foundation for more than 10 years, and he has already broken through to the 3rd level of foundation building. This cultivation speed is relatively fast, which is also due to the fact that he has never lacked the spirit stones and elixirs needed for cultivation. In this way, Song Qingming and his partner lived in Yangshanfang for more than 10 days, until one day, Song Qingming, who was meditating with his eyes closed in his room on the 2nd floor, suddenly felt a cry from outside. When he walked out of the room, he saw a strange phenomenon in the sky in the distance. There were waves of rolling white clouds. This large piece of spiritual cloud also emitted a dazzling golden light from time to time. Even though it was 100 miles away, Song Qingming could see it clearly. After the spiritual clouds slowly gathered together, they formed a huge golden vortex, standing on Qi Mountain. This also made the people walking on the streets stop to watch this spectacle. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Li Mufin. Qi Mountain. In the main hall of Xiaoao sect with a nervous look on his face, Master Guangling said softly to the sect master Yao Qianshu who was standing beside him, Senior Sect Master, Junior Brother Chen's dam formation this time is related to the future fortune of the sect. Uncle Li is not here at this time. This really makes us bear a heavy burden, Junior Brother Zhang. I have told you so many times, why don't you believe it? Uncle Li went out this time without informing anyone. Even I didn't know he was not on the mountain until I went to him half a month ago. You ask me, if I knew, I would still be waiting here. Yao Qianshu shook his head and replied impatiently. Zhenren Guangling smiled awkwardly, then said, Brother, don't misunderstand me. I just thought you and Uncle Li were closer, so I came here to ask you. Uncle Li hates others prying into his whereabouts the most, don't you know? Why are you so forgetful? Although the mountain protection formation has been activated now, we shouldn't take it too lightly. What's the situation with Zhuanfang now? After Yao Qianshu finished speaking, he took a long breath and asked Zhenren Guangling in return. Don't worry, Senior Brother. Everything looks good. He should be able to form a golden core in these 2 days. Junior Sister Bai's helping him to protect the law now. With you and Junior Sister Bai here, even if a unyielding cultivator attacks, we can rely on the mountain protection formation to resist for a while and wait for Uncle Master Li to come to help. I'm afraid that Uncle Master will be away from home, so I came to ask. Yao Qianshu shook his head and said, if Uncle Master is going away for a long time, he will definitely inform me, the sect leader, in advance. Since he didn't say anything, he must still be defending the country. We don't need to worry about this. No one has dared to break into the mountain protection formation of Qingming Mountain for thousands of years. Except for Uncle Master Li, we are not just for show on the mountain. If any villain dares to commit trouble, he will never come back. This strange phenomenon lasted for 3 days before it slowly dissipated between heaven and earth. Then a 7-color rainbow appeared in the sky near Qingming Mountain, which looked very pleasing to the eye. Yang Shenfeng is still a distance away from Qingming Mountain. Although some strange phenomena can be seen from such a distance, Song Qingming is not sure whether this is caused by someone's dam formation. After all, high-level cultivators can cause some strange phenomena when practicing exercises and training magic weapons. The day after the strange phenomenon disappeared, rumors gradually spread in Yangshanfeng that someone from Xiaoyao sect successfully broke through to the Jianden realm yesterday. Seeing that the strange phenomenon lasted for so long, Song Qingming estimated in his heart that if this movement was really caused by someone's Dan formation, it should be almost successful. In an inconspicuous bamboo forest thousands of miles away from Qingming Mountain, a young Taoist in white and a middle-aged man in golden armor were standing opposite each other, staring at each other closely. Their eyes were clearly full of murderous intent, but the two did not move at all. Fellow Taoist Jinyu, you openly entered the border of Uyghur this time. Are you not going to abide by the contract between the two of us? After staring at each other for who knows how long, the young Taoist couldn't help but speak first. Hearing this, the middle-aged man suddenly laughed. Young man, you are so arrogant. I just made an agreement with your master back then. Now he's gone. Do I need your approval to come out and walk around casually? I naturally have no objection to you walking around casually, but this is the territory of my Wei country after all. How about changing places? Let me change places. Li Mufeng, do you think you are qualified? After saying this, the middle-aged man's momentum suddenly changed and he took a step forward, emitting a terrifying pressure. Whether you are qualified or not, you have to try it to know. If you are interested today, I will definitely accompany you. As soon as Li Mufeng finished speaking, the air around the two suddenly burst into a series of invisible collision sounds, followed by a terrifying wave of mana that surrounded the two and scattered. This mana swept through a strong vibration, and the bamboo forest within a radius of more than 10 miles was instantly turned into ashes, and the surrounding area of dozens of miles also became a sea of fire. In Yangshanfeng, the uncle and nephew Song Qingming, who had been living in the inn, were finally allowed to enter Qingming Mountain a few days later as the blockade of Qingming Mountain was slowly lifted. In the past few days in the market, Song Qingming heard a lot of news about the Xiaoyao sect cultivators who had successfully formed a pill. What surprised him was that the Xiaoyao sect cultivator who successfully formed a pill this time was Chen Zuanfeng, whom he had met several times and once joined forces to fight against the enemy. Unexpectedly, after eliminating Yang Wuqi last time, Chen Zuanfeng untied a knot in his heart that had troubled him for many years. Soon after returning, he chose to retreat. After several years of retreat and breakthrough, he finally entered the Golden Core realm in one fell swoop. Under the guidance of a Qi refining disciple of Xiaoyao sect, Song Qingming and his nephew traveled through Qingming Mountain for 3 hours and came to a green mountain full of fairy energy. As soon as they landed on the mountain, a young Xiaoyao sect cultivator came up to them. Seeing Song Qingming, a foundation-building cultivator, he quickly bowed and said, I am Liu Yun from Kanglan Peak, and I pay my respects to you, senior. Song Qingming nodded and said politely, we are here to see fellow Taoist Wang Shangyang. Please inform him first and say that Song Qingming from Qing County is here to visit us. After that, Song Qingming handed the recommendation letter that Wang Shangyang had helped write to Liu Yun. Liu Yun took the letter and quickly sent it to Wang Shangyang's cave. After a while, he ran back and invited Song Qingming and the others to his master's cave. Half an hour later, Song Qingming and the others returned here again. Xinyu, just send her here. In the future, follow the master to practice well. Don't slack off. I will come to see you when I have time, Uncle Qi, don't worry. I know, Song Qingming nodded with satisfaction. While no one was around, he took out dozens of spirit stones and stuffed them into Song Xinyu's hands. Outside is not like home. You have to rely on yourself for everything. If you encounter an emergency and don't have time to send a message home, you can also go directly to your uncle. I have sent a message to him before coming here. We are all of the same blood. You have to help each other here in the future. Leaving Song Xinyu here, Song Qingming left Kanglan Peak alone. Wang Shengyang was not like the other Wang family cultivators that Song Qingming had seen. He was fat and big-eared. After seeing Song Qingming, a fellow villager from Qing County, he was also very enthusiastic and agreed to accept Song Zinayu as his apprentice on the spot. Wang Shengyang's cultivation has reached the 6th level of foundation building, and he has accepted many disciples. Song Zinayu's joining his sect can be regarded as finding a backer for the time being. His life in Xiaoyao sect should not be too difficult in the future. After leaving Kanglin Peak, Song Qingming went directly to Su Ziyan's cave. In the past few years, he came to Yangshanfeng and dropped by twice to visit her, but he was rejected every time. Not only her, but also several of her disciples seemed to be away. There was no response to the sound transmission talisman he sent outside. When he arrived at Su Ziyan's sacred mountain, looking at the cave restriction that was still motionless, Song Qingming could only shake his head helplessly and leave here. Chapter 204 The Lu Family's Style. After leaving Guiyang Mountain, Song Qingming did not delay any longer and rode the wind back to Qing County. This time, Song Zinayu was successfully sent to Xiaoyao sect, which was also a relief for Song Qingming. The next step was to consider how to support Qingyu in building her foundation. No matter what, the future of the family would still be in the hands of these young cultivators. The Song family relied on the stability of Qing County in recent years to slowly make up for the deficit of the family's treasure house. The merits in the hands of the clan members could gradually be exchanged for spirit stones or various spiritual objects. Life gradually became richer, and everyone's cultivation level was more or less improved. Song Qingyu had successfully broken through to the 9th level of Qi Refining a year ago and could build her foundation at any time. However, the Song family's foundation was still relatively weak, and there was no way to get her a foundation-building pill for the time being. If she wanted to build her foundation, she would have to rely on the opportunities and luck in the future. Even though he was capable, Song Qingming still wanted to help the family train another foundation-building cultivator. This was not only for the sake of the family, but also for him to have a reliable helper in the future. However, although he had spiritual stones on him now, he could not find a way to exchange for foundation-building pills at once, so he could only let Song Qingyu wait. After returning to Qing County, Song Qingming did not return directly to Funiu, but took a detour to Qinghofang. As soon as he arrived at the gate of the market, Song Qingming saw from afar on his flying sword that several cultivators were arguing at the gate of Qinghofang. Not knowing what had happened, Song Qingming put away his flying sword and advanced and slowly walked over here. Boy, I have said that there are rules in the market. You can't bring this thing in. Why don't you understand? A gatekeeper cultivator in the middle stage of Qi Refining pinched his nose, pointed at the man in yellow carrying a cloth bag, and shouted loudly. When was this stipulated? Last time we came to the market, we were allowed to bring it in, but not this time. If you are not allowed in, you should return the spirit stones to me. The yellow-clothed man who was stopped was only at the 3rd level of Qi Refining. He was obviously a casual cultivator with no background. At this moment, facing the intentional harassment of the gatekeeper, he was still a little indignant. When did the rules of the market change? Do I need to notify you? Even things like monster feces are allowed in. What do you think of our King Hofang? You smoked us like this, and it's good enough that you didn't ask you for compensation. You dare to ask for spirit stones? Get out of here quickly, and don't force us to drive you away. Seeing that several gatekeepers were about to drive them away, the yellow-clothed man quickly stepped back and turned around to leave. However, he didn't expect that after they looked behind him, they suddenly bypassed him and came to a young man to bow their heads respectfully. Senior Song, when did you arrive? I was too blind to see you just now. Please forgive me. When they heard them calling them senior, the people who were surrounding the gate of the market, including the yellow-clothed man who had just been driven away by them, all stood there in shock. Most of them had been hanging around in small places like Qing County for many years. It was rare for them to see a foundation-building senior at such a close distance. All of them focused their attention on the young man. At this time, Song Qingming, who had a calm face, smiled and nodded, and then said to the people who came forward to salute, since this little brother doesn't know this rule yet, it is understandable. Since he has come here, I think it's better to let him in, so as not to block the door and delay everyone's time. Don't you think so? 5 years have passed, and now the monks of the Lu family have been replaced by the monks stationed at Qinghofang. Seeing the arrogant and domineering appearance of the monks guarding the gate, Song Qingming could only shake his head helplessly. Among the major foundation-building families in Qing County, the cultivators under the Wang and Gao families looked down on these low-level casual cultivators and occasionally bullied others by taking advantage of their power, but they were always very disciplined on the surface. When Song Qingming was stationed in Qinghofang, he dealt with Gao Yufu, the shopkeeper of Jinbaodang, who was also a cultivator of some status within the Gao family. They did not do the things that cheated people in the markets so blatantly, but only dared to do them secretly. After the incident, Gao Yufu was whipped in public by Song Qingming, and the Gao family did not intercede for him personally. It was precisely because of this that although Qinghofang was only a small market, it was still well known around Jiangling County. When the monsters were rioting, many casual cultivators chose to come here for refuge. Although the Song family has only risen in recent years, under the guidance of Song Qingming, they have always been relatively low-key and do not look down on others like these people in front of them. Before the Song family was promoted to a foundation-building family, they were in the Qi Refining family and were actually looked down upon by other foundation-building families in Qinghofang. That is why most of the current Song family cultivators still have some empathy for these casual cultivators. Only the Lu family cultivators' behavior style made Song Qingming feel a little disgusted. In broad daylight, they dared to use their power to make money at the gate of the market. I don't know how the patriarch Lu Xing disciplined these cultivators under the Lu family. The reputation that Qinghofang has finally built up over the years will probably be consumed by these people in a short time. Although he was a little worried, Song Qingming didn't want to care about this matter now. The people who should worry about the business of Qinghofang the most should be Lu Yuanfeng and the people of the Wang and Gao families. They occupied more than half of the interests of the market, and it was not the turn of the Song family to take the lead. What the senior said is true. We didn't mean to embarrass him just now. It was Senior Lu who gave our law enforcement team an order not long ago to clean up the image of the market, so we just talked to him about the rules. Seeing that Song Qingming, a foundation-building cultivator who usually looked high and mighty, would actually speak for a down-and-out third-level Qi Refining cultivator, these people were a little surprised and quickly explained a few words. When they faced these low-level cultivators just now, they were arrogant and domineering, but now facing Song Qingming, they suddenly turned into a flattering face, which really made Song Qingming feel a little funny. After saying that, a law enforcement team cultivator quickly turned around and shouted at the people who were still blocking the entrance of the market, "Why don't you go in? Why are you blocking the door? Didn't you hear what the senior just said?" Hearing this, the man in yellow and the others hurriedly bowed their heads to thank Song Qingming and quickly passed through the gate of the market. Song Qingming smiled and nodded, and followed them into Qinghofang. After the Battle of Funiu Mountain, as the Wang and Gao families took the initiative to stop fighting and acquiesce to their respective territories, the situation in Qing County has gradually stabilized in the past few years, and Qinghofang has also returned to its former tranquility, but there are indeed fewer pedestrians on the street than before. After entering the market, Song Qingming first went to the Song family store and gave them some alchemy materials brought from Yangshanfang, and then went to Wang Xian's Golden Phoenix Tower. Since moving back to Funiu, Song Qingming has rarely come here in the past few years. Today, since he has arrived at Qinghofang, he will naturally not miss this opportunity to comfort his stomach. He ordered a table of delicious spiritual food in one breath. Now he is at least a foundation-building cultivator, so he is not short of spiritual stones. Chapter 205 Acquaintance. It must be said that he really likes Wang Xian's spiritual cooking skills. Since being with Song Qingming, she has specially studied several types of spiritual food that he likes to eat, which can be regarded as keeping his stomach tightly. After eating and drinking, Song Qingming touched his stomach with satisfaction. Just as he was about to get up and leave, Wang Xian pushed the door and walked in again, holding a pot of fragrant spiritual tea in her hand. Seeing that the dishes on the table had almost been swept away by Song Qingming, Wang Xian smiled and said, "Did you find out which dish was made by Honggai this time? I really didn't notice this time. Is this girl's cooking skills so good? It's really a master who produces excellent students," Song Qingming answered with a look of surprise. Li Honggai, who has been following Wang Xian for the past few years, has also improved a lot in cooking skills. Now she has officially become a spiritual chef. She and Li Quan have already regarded Jinfeng Lao as their home. Just as Wang Xian and he were sitting by the window on the second floor, preparing to taste the spiritual tea, there was a gentle knock on the door. After Song Qingming answered, he found that the old man who pushed the door in was Li Quan, the owner of the restaurant. Li Quan had practiced Taoism for many years and was already a very smooth person. In the past few years, he had made some friends in the Golden Phoenix Tower. He knew almost all the people who lived in Qinghofang. When Song Qingming occasionally wanted to find a rare thing in the market, he would ask him about it. Seeing Wang Xian was also there, Li Quan showed a hint of surprise on his face. After a slight hesitation, he still spoke to Song Qingming. "Senior Song, a guest came to the number 1 private room downstairs and said that he was your acquaintance. Let me invite you over." "Acquaintance? Don't you know him? What does he look like?" Song Qingming heard this and asked indifferently. In the past, when he was stationed in Qinghofang, some low-level cultivators would come here after knowing his whereabouts, hoping to make themselves familiar to this foundation-building cultivator. Some people would first establish a relationship with him in order to meet him smoothly. There were quite a few who dared to say that they were his acquaintances, even though they had only seen him from a distance. Song Qingming was already a little tired of this. "It's a young woman. I can't tell what her cultivation level is. I have never seen her before. She shouldn't be someone who often comes to our market." Li Quan paused and answered Song Qingming's question seriously. "Even you can see her cultivation level. Could this person be a foundation-building cultivator?" Song Qingming's face gradually became serious. Although Li Quan's cultivation level was not particularly outstanding, he was also a cultivator in the late stage of Qi refining. Normally, the cultivation level of a normal Qi refining cultivator could not be hidden from his consciousness. This, I can't say for sure. There are so many miraculous skills in the world of immortal cultivation. It is possible that she has practiced a special breath-concealing skill. But judging from her words and actions, she seems to have some background. She also said that you can go to see her alone, and it is best not to bring other people. Hearing this, Song Qingming's face was instantly displeased. And he said in a deep voice, "Who is so mysterious? He must be from a very important background. It's better not to meet him, since he established his foundation. Not everyone can visit him in Qinghofang." When he was stationed here, even Lu Yuanfeng, a foundation-building cultivator from the Xiaoyao sect, would politely send people to invite him every time he wanted to see him. This was the first time he heard someone summon him in such a commanding tone, and he couldn't help but get angry. Even if this person was really a foundation-building cultivator, Song Qingming didn't have to give her this face in Qinghofang. Since he said he is an acquaintance, why not go and meet him? Maybe he is really a friend of yours. Don't make him wait too long. After all, he is a guest of my restaurant." Wang Xian, who was standing by, saw that Song Qingming's face was not very good, and whispered to comfort him. After hearing Wang Xian's words, Song Qingming calmed down a little. He put down the teacup in his hand, stood up, and walked out the door with his hands behind his back. "Okay, I'll give you a favor today. I'll go and see who this person is." It was already afternoon, and there were no guests still eating in the lobby on the first floor of the restaurant. Song Qingming strode and walked to a private room on the east side. Li Quan, who was following behind, was about to go forward and knock on the door, but the door of the private room suddenly opened from the inside, and a young woman in red clothes whispered to Song Qingming. "Come in first." The voice was very cold. Li Quan felt something was wrong when he heard it. The tone of the woman's voice seemed to show that she didn't take Song Qingming, the senior who had built his foundation, seriously. If Song Qingming was really angry, he would probably blame himself for being so foolish as to invite him to meet such an ignorant girl. After seeing the face of the woman in red, Song Qingming's face turned pale and he stood there blankly. The cold voice of the woman in red sounded like thunder in Song Qingming's ears, and he couldn't help but take a big step back. "Senior Song, don't you know her?" Li Quan, who was standing aside, saw that Song Qingming's face changed drastically after seeing the woman, and he didn't speak. He thought that he was really angry, so he couldn't help but ask. But he didn't know that Song Qingming was sweating profusely on his back, and he was so scared that he almost couldn't open his mouth. Don't talk nonsense. This is one of my friends. It's none of your business. Go and do your work first. Don't let anyone in later." After Li Quan's reminder, Song Qingming finally recovered a little, and quickly stopped him, motioning him to leave first. After walking in carefully, Song Qingming quickly put a soundproof note at the door, then gently walked to the red-clothed woman, bowed respectfully and said, "Senior, how did you find this place?" This is the territory of the human cultivators. You can all come to my demon clan's territory at will. Why can't I come here? The red-clothed woman asked Song Qingming in a rather strange tone while drinking the spirit wine in her hand. Senior, don't misunderstand me. I am also considering your safety. After all, there are still many Xiaoyao sect cultivators in Qinghofang. If they accidentally find you, you will be in danger. Song Qingming was already extremely nervous, but he was still explaining patiently. The woman in red was none other than the Fire Phoenix Demon King, who had imprisoned Song Qingming for several months in the depths of the floating cloud mountains a few years ago. When Song Qingming first saw her, he was so scared that he almost thought he had recognized the wrong person. He really didn't expect that Fire Phoenix, as a high-level Demon King, would appear here. Although she could transform into human form, low-level cultivators could not see anything. But cultivators above the giant level would definitely be able to easily see her identity. As a demon, Fire Phoenix dared to go so blatantly into the heartland of the human race. In Song Qingming's view, it was indeed a very dangerous move. Sit down first. Fire Phoenix poured himself a glass of wine and pointed to the opposite side. Song Qingming walked to the opposite side of Fire Phoenix and sat down gently on the chair. He felt uncomfortable as if he was sitting on pins and needles. He really didn't want to stay here, but he didn't dare to disobey Fire Phoenix's orders. Do you know why I can find you? Fire Phoenix said, and poured another glass of wine in front of Song Qingming. Quotation mark. Chapter 206, Meeting Fire Phoenix Again. Song Qingming took the wine glass rather helplessly. After thinking about it, he shook his head slightly at To Feng with a puzzled look on his face. During the period of time after being captured by the Blue and Demon King in the floating cloud mountains, Song Qingming did not tell them his real name. There were at least 500 or 600 foundation-building cultivators in the entire Wei Kingdom. He really couldn't figure out what magical power Ho Feng relied on to find him. Just when Song Qingming was still full of doubts, Ho Feng waved his left hand at him, and the magic power in his hand moved slightly. Suddenly, a ball of red light appeared on Song Qingming's arm, slowly flew into Ho Feng's hand and turned into a small ball of flame. The whole casting process was extremely fast, and Song Qingming did not feel any discomfort, as if the flame had just grown from his body, which made Song Qingming feel a little chill in his heart. Remember the spiritual item I gave you to restore your mana? I added a little bit of my spiritual flame to it. Your cultivation is too low and you definitely can't feel it. As long as you are alive, it will stay in your body and I can find you at any time. After Ho Feng finished speaking, she slowly closed her hands, and the flame disappeared. At this moment, Song Qingming finally understood that Ho Feng had done something with 1,000-year spiritual milk to plant the spiritual flame she just mentioned in his body. It was all his fault that he was too greedy at the time, so he fell into her trap. Thinking of this, Song Qingming quickly took out the 2 bottles of 1,000-year spiritual milk that were left on him and carefully placed them on the table. Seeing this, Ho Feng frowned and waved his hand, saying, I didn't come here specifically to ask you for this. There is actually nothing in it. The spiritual flame I put in before has just been taken out for you. Don't worry, we monsters are not as cunning as you humans, otherwise I would not have taken the initiative to tell you about this and help you unlock this secret technique. This is secretly tampering with the things sent to you. Isn't it called cunning? Can you call it open and above board? Song Qingming was very angry with Ho Feng in his heart, but he could only think about this in his heart, and he still had to bow his head respectfully to express his gratitude. Thank you for your trust, Senior. I was a little too suspicious. Ho Feng nodded with satisfaction, filled up his glass again, and then suddenly said, in a few months, the Taiyu Lake secret realm will be opened. I want to go in. You can just go with me then. What? You want to go to the Taiyu Lake secret realm? Hearing that Ho Feng came to him to go to the Taiyu Lake secret realm, Song Qingming opened his mouth wide instantly. This guy, doesn't he know that the secret realm is controlled by human cultivators? Not long ago, Song Qingming learned from Wang Shengaiyu that the secret realm would also suppress the cultivation of high-level cultivators. Even the giant cultivators of the human race dared not go there casually. She, a demon race, ran into such a place. Could it be that she thought her life was too long? Senior, Taiyu Lake is the territory of human cultivators. When the secret realm is opened, there may be giant cultivators outside. If you go there, aren't you afraid of being discovered by them? Don't worry about this. I can tell you that this is not the first time I have been in there. Naturally, I have my own way, You just need to find a way to sneak in and then listen to my arrangements." After Hou Feng finished speaking, before Song Qingming could react, she took out a silver animal skin bag and threw it directly in front of him. Song Qingming took it and opened it. He found that it was full of more than a dozen spiritual medicines of level 2 or above, and 2 of them seemed to have reached the 3rd level. Moreover, the spiritual energy emitted by these spiritual medicines was very sufficient, and it seemed that they were picked not long ago. "Last time, because you took Qingluan's spiritual medicine without authorization, you helped me to do things as a debt, so I didn't pay you. This time I took the initiative to come to you. Of course I won't let you work for nothing. These things in the bag should be enough for you to go with me." Last time, the pearl spirit medicine clearly fell into the hands of the Wang family, but he was asked to pay the debt. After hearing what Hou Feng said, Song Qingming felt helpless, but he still didn't dare to say it to her face. "As long as I can, I will serve you." After Song Qingming finished speaking, he slowly put the animal skin bag into the storage bag. To be honest, as a human cultivator, Song Qingming was very reluctant to serve a high-level demon cultivator. If Xiaoyao Sec knew that he had such dealings with a demon clan in the future, Song Qingming was afraid that even if he had 9 heads, it would not be enough for Xiaoyao Sec to chop off. But now he didn't have much choice facing Hou Feng. He was still very clear about Hou Feng's strength. If he really angered the temper of the Demon King, she could probably just wave her hand and sweep the entire King Hou Feng into ruins. With the level of the demon beast of Hou Feng, since she would appear here on purpose, it basically meant that she had already eaten Song Qingming to death. If Song Qingming didn't know the current situation and dared to refuse her, he estimated that there was a great possibility that he would never see the sun tomorrow again. Song Qingming didn't need to think too much about this and knew what to do. If he agreed to her, at least he would be fine now. As for the spiritual medicines that Hou Feng took out, Song Qingming would naturally not refuse. After all, he had already risked his life to gamble, and he deserved these spiritual objects. Although Hou Feng was a demon cultivator, she was also very experienced in controlling people's hearts. She not only learned to coerce, but also knew how to lure. After this operation, Song Qingming basically agreed to her as she thought. "Take this, and when you enter the secret realm of Tai Lake, I will find a chance to contact you with this." After Hou Feng finished speaking, he threw a half-foot-long colorful feather over. Song Qingming took it and took a quick look. He didn't see anything wrong, so he carefully put it into his storage bag. "I remember your name is Song San, right? Why did the old man insist that you were not called this name when I asked someone to call you just now? What should I call you next?" Hearing Hou Feng's question, Song Qingming suddenly became nervous again, and hurriedly explained, "Don't blame me, senior. My name is Song Qingming, and I am the 3rd child in my family. Therefore, many people who know me also call me Song San. You can call me by any name you like." In order not to leave any traces, Song Qingming deliberately used the less well-known nickname Song San, which really dug a hole for himself. He never thought that Hou Feng would actually come to King Hou Feng to find him. Fortunately, she should only know him in the market, so he doesn't have to worry too much about others explaining this name to her. "Oh, is that so?" Hou Feng just asked casually, and didn't really care too much. After hearing that Song Qingming's answer was reasonable, she didn't say anything more. After drinking another cup, Hou Feng stood up and prepared to leave, walking towards the door. Song Qingming quickly followed her out. As soon as they walked out, they ran into Song Qingyu, who had just arrived at the restaurant in a hurry. When Song Qingming saw her, he immediately felt that something seemed to be wrong, and quickly turned sideways to avoid her sight, but he didn't expect Song Qingyu's voice to come over immediately. "7th brother, I came to borrow Dian Hopeng from my sister-in-law. I have to go back later." Chapter 207 Unyielding Collision. After all, Song Qingyu's cultivation has reached the 9th level of Qi Refining, and her senses have long surpassed those of ordinary mortals. At this time, there are only a few people in the store on the 1st floor, and it is indeed impossible for her not to notice Song Qingming and the others. Hearing Song Xinyu's words, Song Qingming's face froze, and he carefully glanced at Hou Feng, and found that her eyes were indeed slowly looking at him, and he couldn't help but get nervous. "Don't follow me. Don't forget what I told you. Remember, if you dare to mention me to others, there will be no place called Funiu in Weiguo in the future." Hou Feng didn't seem to care too much about what Song Qingyu said. After reminding Song Qingming with a serious face, he directly put on an ordinary bamboo hat to cover his face and left the Golden Phoenix Tower. Seeing that Ho Feng had already walked out of the door, Song Qingming finally breathed a sigh of relief, turned around and said to Song Qingyu with an impatient look, "If you want Yan Ho Peng, why don't you go find her yourself? Why do you have to ask me? I just happened to see you here, so I asked you casually, so that you won't say I never greet you when you find out later." Seventh brother, who is that person who just left? Song Zinai looked at Ho Feng who had already left, and looked at Song Qingming with a nervous face curiously. Okay. I know, go by yourself, why are you asking so many questions? Song Qingming waved to her, turned around and returned to the private room where Ho Feng had just talked to him, and sat blankly on the chair just now. More than 5 years have passed, and Song Qingming didn't expect that he still couldn't get rid of Ho Feng's control, and he didn't know if he would have the luck to come back alive this time when he went to Taiyu's secret realm with her. When Ho Feng let him go, Song Qingming thought that as long as he did not go deep into the floating cloud mountains in the future, he would not meet Ho Feng again. He never thought that she would come to him directly. This time, he was really on pins and needles when he met Ho Feng. Li Quan, who was unaware of the situation at the time, almost kicked her out, which almost scared Song Qingming out of his wits. Song Qingming was really afraid that Ho Feng, a demon king with an unpredictable temper, would turn King Ho Feng upside down in anger. Song Qingming did not dare to doubt the warning she gave before she left. In her eyes, the Song family, a small foundation-building family, was indeed in existence that she could easily erase. Speaking of which, he really had to thank Wang Xian. If she hadn't advised him, he might have really let Ho Feng eat a cold shoulder. If he really offended her today, what would happen? Song Qingming was terrified when he thought about it. Now that Ho Feng had been sent away, what should he do next? At this moment, Song Qingming was overwhelmed with emotions and didn't know where to go next. If he told Zioao sect about this directly, would they care about his life or death? Would Zioao sect really fight against Ho Feng, a demon king who had already transformed, for the sake of a small Song family? When he returned from the floating cloud mountains 5 years ago, Song Qingming had thought of this, but he was not confident at all and couldn't find a suitable excuse to explain how he escaped back. Once Zioao sect used the god-asking talisman on him and learned that he had helped Ho Feng to get treasures from the secret realm, would they let him go in the end? Song Qingming sat alone from the afternoon until dusk before he walked out of this private room. During this period, Wang Xian, Li Quan and others who didn't know what had happened went to knock on the door, but Song Qingming ignored them. Wang Xian saw that he was suddenly locked in, and didn't know why. After thinking about it, he told others not to go in and disturb him. What happened today? Is that person your friend? Wang Xian asked Song Qingming when she saw him. Song Qingming had recovered by now, and replied with a smile, "Nothing, I knew her and Yi Unfang before, and she helped me before. Remember, if you see her again in the future, you must not neglect her." Wang Xian nodded, and then saw Song Qingming walking towards the door. She pursed her lips and asked again, "Are you going back to Funiu Mountain today?" "No, I still have to go to Taiyuan Mountain." "If you want to go back, you can also come with me." Song Qingming stopped and looked at Wang Xian. She shook her head gently and said, "Don't take me with you if you have something to do. I went back once some time ago, and there was nothing wrong at home." Hearing Wang Xian's words, Song Qingming didn't say anything more, nodded and turned to walk out. In a barren mountain thousands of miles away, with a loud bang, Li Mufang and the middle-aged man appeared on both sides of the mountain top. The two had been fighting here for more than 10 days. The area around here had been turned into a white land by them. There were flames everywhere, and the mountains and rivers were out of place. It was a scene like purgatory. The noise caused by the two fighting had already alarmed some monks passing by. The first few foundation-building monks who came saw such a scene from afar and were so scared that they turned their swords and fled. This kind of unyielding-level battle scene was not something that low-level monks like them could get involved in. Even if they got closer, they would be shocked by the aftermath of the fight and they might be killed on the spot. It is likely that no one in the entire Wei country has seen this level of monks fighting for hundreds of years. Fellow Taoist Jinyu has such a profound level of cultivation that I really admire him. However, we can't decide who will win in this fight. How about we stop fighting and make peace for now? Li Mufang held a sword in one hand and a golden thunderball in the other, and shouted calmly to the middle-aged man in the distance. The middle-aged man was none other than the Golden Feather Demon King, who had dominated the Funiu Mountains in the north of Wei State for 2,000 years. The Golden Feather Demon King looked at Li Mufang and was very moved. A few hundred years ago, Li Mufang in front of me was just a small giant and cultivator. I didn't expect that his strength now can be compared with me, a demon king who has achieved enlightenment for 2,000 years. The cultivation speed of human cultivators is often unexpected. Although the Golden Feather Demon King's cultivation is higher than Li Mufang's, it is difficult to kill the other party in a battle at the unyielding level unless the difference in strength is too great. He and Li Mufang both knew this very well, and neither of them had the confidence to stop the other. Seeing that his goal of temporarily holding him back for a few days had been achieved, the Golden Feather Demon King put away the golden light on his body and took a step back. I have just stayed at home for a long time, so I came out to relax my muscles. It is also helpful for me to relieve my fatigue if fellow Taoist Li can accompany me in a fight. Let's stop here today. We will come out to spar again when we are free in a while. I, Li Mufang, have benefited a lot from today's battle. Fellow Taoist Jinai has this wish, and I will certainly come to accompany you. A golden light flashed across the top of the mountain, and the Golden Feather Demon King had disappeared. Li Mufang was relieved to see that this difficult opponent was finally leaving. Since his master passed away, the northern part of Wei State has become increasingly restless in the past few hundred years. It would be great if the sect could cultivate another nascent soul cultivator. Unfortunately, the resources in Wei State are relatively scarce, and Xiaoyao sect does not know when it will be able to do this. Chapter 208, Meeting an Old Friend Again. After a walk outside, when Qingming returned to Funiu Mountain, the beautiful morning light had appeared on the snow-white horizon. Looking at the mortals of the Song family who had lived and multiplied for hundreds of years near the family's sacred mountain, Qingming felt that sometimes he was not as free and easy as an ordinary mortal. At first, he thought that as long as his cultivation level improved a little and he had some self-protection power in the world of immortal cultivation, he would have nothing to worry about. Only now did he slowly realize that with the improvement of his cultivation level, his needs would also become greater and greater. In order to successfully improve his cultivation level, he often had to take some risks. Many times, you can't predict these dangers in advance, just like when he went to the floating cloud mountains with the Wang family. Although he guessed that there would be some trouble at the time, he would never have thought that they would actually provoke the Golden Core level Demon King on this trip, and he was also targeted by a big figure of the Demon Clan, such as Ho Feng. More than 10 days ago, when Wang Shengaiyu came to Funiu to invite Qingming to the Tehu secret realm, Qingming had made up his mind not to go to such a dangerous place and wade into this muddy water. The reason why he did not refuse in person at that time was also because he considered the relationship between the Wang family and the Song family. It was really difficult for him to refute Wang Shengaiyu in person. After experiencing the feeling of life and death being controlled by others at any time in the floating cloud mountains, Qingming was really scared. After returning, he wanted to live a peaceful life for a few years. He would not go to such a dangerous place casually unless it was absolutely necessary. However, God did not fulfill people's wishes. After Qingming came back from Xiaoyao sect, he was about to write a letter to the Wang family to tactfully shirk this matter, but the arrival of the Fire Phoenix tied him to this matter completely. After just 5 years of peace of mind, Qingming had to worry about his head being pinned on his waist again. He really had a hard time. Yesterday, Qingming arrived at Wang family Taiyuan Mountain. When he first saw Wang Shengaiyu, he pretended not to want to go. It was not until Wang Shengaiyu persuaded him again that he finally agreed to it. Then Qingming asked Wang Shengaiyu again about the news about the Taiyu Lake secret realm in detail, so as to prepare for his next move. After all, the Wang family has been a foundation-building family for nearly 1,000 years. They have entered the secret realm many times before and after, and rarely make mistakes. They have a very good understanding of it. From Wang Shengaiyu's description, the Taiyu Lake secret realm is an extremely huge valley, divided into 2 parts, the inner and outer valleys. Generally, family cultivators like the Wang family search for spiritual objects in the outer valley. The rare treasures that Wang Shengaiyu mentioned at the beginning can be found in the outer valley, as long as they are lucky. As for the inner valley, no one in the Wang family has entered it for so many years, so naturally they don't know what rare spiritual objects are there. According to what Wang Shengaiyu told him, probably only a few nearby large sects, such as Xiaoyao sect, have a fixed way to enter the inner valley. When they enter, they just need to stay in the outer valley. If they accidentally enter the inner valley and encounter those monks from the big sects, even a master of the foundation building period like Wang Shangxin will find it difficult to survive. After all, this secret realm is only open once every few decades. Every time at this time, big sects like Xiaoyao sect will send many masters of the foundation building period to enter it. If you accidentally offend them, even if you are a 9th level foundation building cultivator, it will be difficult to survive. After returning to Funiu Mountain, Song Qingming quickly locked himself in the cave. Fortunately, there were still a few months before the Taiyu Lake secret realm, and he still had time to prepare for himself in advance. A few months later, in the Taiyu Lake market, a man in green was sitting by the 2nd floor window of a restaurant, looking down at the people coming and going below. In recent days, there have been many unfamiliar foundation building cultivators in the market. It seems that the time for the secret realm to open will soon come. The man in green picked up a cup of spiritual tea and was about to put it in his mouth, but he didn't expect that a beautiful red figure suddenly appeared on the empty seat next to his table. Fellow Taoist Song, I haven't seen you for many years. I didn't expect to meet you here. You came here at this time. Are you also coming for the secret realm? Fellow Taoist Su, I am honored. I have come to Guiyang Mountain many times in the past few years to find you, but I didn't succeed. It turns out that you are here. Song Qingming looked at the familiar red figure with a very surprised face. He didn't expect that Su Ziyan, whom he had specially looked for several times but couldn't see, would appear in front of him like this. Dao, you misunderstood. I have been on a mission of the sect for many years and have not returned to Guiyang Mountain. It is normal that I missed you. I just came here not long ago according to the arrangement of the sect, I see. In the past few years, I have really had bad luck. I haven't met Dao even once. Song Qingming nodded in sudden realization. Su Ziyan smiled and blinked, and said softly, Dao Song has only been building his foundation for more than 10 years, and he has already cultivated to the 3rd level of foundation building. How can he be a person with bad luck? You are too modest. That being said, compared with Dao Su, my cultivation is barely acceptable. In fact, I was able to build my foundation back then thanks to you. I have always wanted to repay you for these years, but I have no chance. If Dao Su needs anything in the future, I hope you can remember me. As long as it is within my ability, Song will not refuse. After speaking, Song Qingming bowed his head and saluted to Su Ziyan again. Fellow Taoist Song, you are too polite. We are all cultivators, so it is normal to support each other. Fellow Taoist and I have known each other for many years since the Qi refining stage. There is no need for such formalities. Su Ziyan smiled and waved to Song Qingming, then asked, Fellow Taoist Song, are you here alone this time? My cultivation is low. How dare I come here alone to join in the fun? I came here with the Wang family of Taiyuan Mountain, but I came early. I was bored these days, so I came out alone. I didn't expect that we were destined to meet. Fellow Taoist Su, you appear here today, and all the cultivators of the Xiaoyao sect should have arrived. I wonder if the time for the secret realm to open is almost here. Song Qingming knew that Su Ziyan was trying to find out the details of his this time, but he came here under the guise of the Wang family, and was not afraid that such things would spread, so he generously revealed all the cultivators of the Wang family. His main purpose of coming here this time was not for any rare spiritual objects. Once he entered the secret realm, as long as he could cooperate with the Fire Phoenix and save his life, he would be successful. As for Su Ziyan's appearance here, she did not answer. Song Qingming knew in his heart that she came here on behalf of Xiaoyao sect. Although Su Ziyan's cultivation was only the 4th level of foundation building, as a foundation building cultivator who had not used foundation building pills, her strength would definitely exceed that of cultivators of the same level. Song Qingming would not be surprised at all that she would appear in the Xiaoyao sect's team. There were many foundation building cultivators who came to the Taiyu Lake secret realm this time. Those with cultivation like Song Qingming were generally not alone, but more or less organized. They had low cultivation levels and could only use this method to keep warm together to survive more easily. Chapter 209 Taiyu Lake Secret Realm. After hearing Song Qingming asking her about the opening time of the secret realm, Su Ziyan was stunned for a moment and shook her head slightly. The specific opening time of the Taiyu Lake secret realm is only known by the sect master uncle who led the team this time. I don't know either. According to the senior sister who came with me, The monks from the Lingyuan sect of Lu and the Xingqian sect of Wu have not arrived yet. It will probably take a few days, I see. I don't know much about the secret realm. Thank you for reminding me, fellow Taoist Su. Then Song Qingming and Su Ziyan chatted about the secret realm for a while in the restaurant. It was not until Su Ziyan received a voice transmission from her fellow disciples that the two left. After seeing Su Ziyan off, Song Qingming saw that it was still early, so he planned to take this opportunity to walk around in the market. It had been several days since he arrived at the Taiyu Lake Market, and Song Qingming had been staying with the Wang family and had not come out to walk around. Taiyu Lake Market is located in the southeast of Uyghur. Although it is not as big as Yangshan Market, its prosperity is not much different from Giyan Market in the north. Recently, because the secret realm is about to open, many foundation building monks have moved into the market, which has increased its popularity. The merchants in the market also seize this opportunity to take out all the second-level spiritual objects that have been accumulated in their stores for decades. This market is located on the edge of Taiyu Lake, which is a large lake that stretches for thousands of miles. It is rich in water-attributed monsters and spiritual objects. Therefore, most of the things in the nearby market are of water attributes. Song Qingming wandered around the market for a long time and saw many spiritual objects that he had never seen before. Although these things are not valuable here, they are very rare in the northern part of Uyghur. It was a rare trip here, so Song Qingming took the initiative to purchase some. These water-attributed spiritual objects were very beneficial to the cultivators in the clan who practiced water-attributed techniques. When they returned, they would be placed directly in the treasury for them to exchange freely. This would not only benefit them, but he could also earn some errand fees, which was a two birds with one stone deal. Ordinary foundation building cultivators might not do such things for the sake of face, but Song Qingming was happy to do it. He had finally come out, and he didn't want to go back so soon. While strolling around, Song Qingming unexpectedly saw a second-level water-attributed technique book on sale in a shop. Although the price of this technique was 1,400 spirit stones, which was not cheap, Song Qingming still happily put it in his pocket. It is rare to see anyone selling level 2 or higher martial arts books, even in larger markets, not to mention the relatively rare water-attributed martial arts. Song Qingming had seen ordinary level 2 martial arts auctions several times at the Xiandan League auction, but the prices were raised to levels that he could not accept, so he did not bother to compete for them. This martial art is called breaking waves and can be practiced to the 9th level of foundation building. It is considered to be a relatively good level 2 martial art. If King Gaiyu can successfully build a foundation in the future, he can switch to this martial art. After the sunset, Song Qingming returned to the inn with satisfaction. Seeing that several cultivators from the Wang family were still in their rooms, he did not take the initiative to disturb them and returned to his room alone. According to Su Ziyan, whenever the secret realm is opened, the sects around Uyghur will also send monks to come. Although this secret realm is located in the Xiaoyao sect, many years ago, the monks of Uyghur and several surrounding countries fought several fierce battles in order to gain control of this secret realm. After nearly 100 years of fighting, Xiaoyao sect finally had to make some concessions. When the secret realm is opened, the monks of several surrounding countries are allowed to enter and share this secret realm. In addition to Uyghur, there are Uyghur in the east, Luguo and Shangaianguo in the south, which have unyielding sects inside. They will also send elite monks from the sect to enter the secret realm. Uyghur Xiaoyao sect, as the host, controls the teleportation array at the main entrance to the secret realm. Every time the secret realm is opened, except for the monks and the Xiaoyao sect, others who want to enter the secret realm must hand over some spirit stones to Xiaoyao sect. Just relying on this, Xiaoyao sect can earn at least tens of thousands of spirit stones every time the secret realm is opened. On a deserted island in the lake 100 miles away from Taiyu Lake Market, a red-dressed fire phoenix sat motionlessly with her eyes closed on a large rock half submerged in the water. Not far away, there were several yellow fish monsters in the Qi Refining stage swimming slowly in the water, greedily looking at her motionless on the rock. However, as soon as these little monsters approached a boulder, they felt a strange force in the nearby space pushing them away. They could not get too close to the boulder and could only circle around it. Suddenly, these fish monsters felt a powerful force approaching here quickly, and they all dived into the deep water with a look of fear on their faces and quickly fled from here. Soon, the water in front of the boulder began to bubble up. After the water surface rolled, a black fish more than 10 feet tall slowly emerged from the water. The fish looked at the small figure of Ho Feng sitting on the stone by the water, moved its huge head, and said softly, "Our Iron Wall King said that we can lend you that place for one more time, but only this time. Next time you want to go in, please find another way yourself and don't come to us." The voice of the fish was very delicate, like a woman's. Combined with its huge body, it looked very strange. "I know. After I go back, please thank your king for me." Ho Feng heard the words, quickly opened her eyes and nodded, and then threw a golden spiritual fruit to the fish that had spoken to her before. The fish took the golden spiritual fruit, swung its tail happily, and slowly sank back into the water. After a while, the water surface returned to its previous calm. If any nearby cultivators had seen the strange fish talking to the fire phoenix, they would have been shocked. This strange-looking monster is a famous giant and late-stage monster king in Taiyu Lake. The monster king, who never shows up easily, actually appeared so close to the market, which was enough to shock Xiaoyao sect. There are two unyielding-level monster kings in Taiyu Lake. The Iron Wall monster king near the Weiguo side has a relatively gentle temperament. He basically stays in his own water palace to practice. The monster kings under his command rarely conflict with human cultivators. This is also the reason why the southeastern border of Weiguo has been stable for thousands of years. Xiaoyao sect is also very conservative in the development of Taiyu Lake. It prohibits the cultivators under it from going deep into the lake to hunt high-level monsters, so as not to anger the monster kings in the lake. Even in such an important place as Taiyu Lake Market, there is no giant and cultivator guarding it. After the strange fish disappeared, a red light suddenly appeared on the fire phoenix's body. As flames continued to emerge from her body, the surrounding lake water began to boil. The fire phoenix's eyes, which were already emitting red flames, glanced into the distance, then turned into a red flame and left the deserted island. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Lingyuan Sect. 10 days later, on the south side of Taiyu Lake Market, an empty square was filled with people. At this moment, at least hundreds of people had gathered here. Some of them stood together in twos and threes, and some gathered in a group of more than 10 people. Very few of them came here alone. Almost all of these people were at the foundation building stage or above. They were respected in their own territory on weekdays. At this moment, so many people gathered here, it can be said that almost half of the foundation building cultivators of Weiguo had come. Everyone stood in the square, and on the surface, they looked very friendly. When they met someone familiar, they would take the initiative to say hello from a distance. Of course, there were also people who were not so harmonious, and they would stare at another person with fierce eyes, as if they had seen an enemy they had not seen for many years. However, even if they were furious at the moment, no one dared to take action in this place. The reason was that their eyes were always focused on the square. Two people, a man and a woman, were sitting on chairs and looking at everyone calmly. The two men, the man has white hair and beard, and the old man with a very kind face always has a little smile on his face, and his kind eyes sweep over the people on the scene from time to time. The young woman sitting on his right does not seem so kind, and her eyes seem to be covered with ice crystals. When the cold eyes sweep over, people can still feel a hint of coldness in her eyes. The two people are dressed very ordinary like everyone else, but the aura they exude is far beyond that of the foundation building cultivators. They are obviously two giant and real people with higher cultivation. They are the two sent by Xiaoyao sect to maintain order on the scene when the secret realm is opened. Not far behind them, there is a square or a platform, and 4 disciples wearing Xiaoyao sect costumes stand on the side. The hundreds of foundation building cultivators standing in the square are very afraid of the glances of the two people from time to time, for fear that they will accidentally anger the two. Standing here, even if you see your former mortal enemy, you can only grit your teeth and restrain your inner emotions for the time being. Song Qingming, who had arrived here early in the morning, was standing next to the two foundation building cultivators of the Wang family. In addition to Wang Shangyu and Wang Shangxin, there was also a foundation building cultivator from Pingyang County named Hu Longhe. This person was originally a casual cultivator in Yianfang. He had already reached the 6th level of foundation building. More than 10 years ago, he participated in resisting the monster riots and made many contributions. After the war, he used his military exploits to apply for a second-level spiritual vein from Xiaoyao sect. He brought his clansmen and a dozen disciples to Pingyan County, which was severely damaged by the war, and established a small foundation-building cultivation family. As soon as Hu Longhe, an outsider casual cultivator, arrived in Pingyan County, he was ostracized by the local foundation-building family. For a while, he could not find a suitable ally nearby, so he soon turned his attention to outside Pingyan County and relied on the powerful Wang family in Qing County. Like Song Qingming, he was encouraged by the Wang family. Not far from Song Qingming and his companions, Gao Jin and his companions from the Gao family also came here soon. After seeing each other, Gao Jin and Wang Shengxin showed no surprise on their faces. They even smiled and bowed to each other and said hello. Gao Yubei, who was standing next to Gao Jin, looked at Wang Shengyu and Song Qingming coldly with a bad face. He seemed to still have a grudge against the fact that the two of them had joined forces to injure him. There was another person next to the two Gao family members, but this person was not Losing as Song Qingming expected, but a cultivator with a relatively unfamiliar face. He should not be a foundation-building cultivator near Qing County, and his cultivation seemed to be higher than Gao Yubei. Wang Shengyu looked around and did not find the figure of the Lu family. He smiled and said, "Losing, that cowardly thing, really didn't dare to come. Brother Jiu was right, whether he comes or not, it will not affect the Gao family's coming to join in the fun." After saying that, Wang Shengxin deliberately glanced at the stranger next to Gao Jin. On the Gao family's side, Gao Yubei glanced at Song Qingming and said to Gao Jin, "Song Qingming dared to come here. We have been trying to persuade him for several months, but that old guy Losing really doesn't have the courage to come with us." Sixth uncle, it's really frustrating to compare yourself with others. Gao Jin sighed helplessly and said, "Losing is just a short-sighted person who is willing to do big things but cherishes his life. The Lu family will definitely not be able to achieve anything in the future. We are just using each other temporarily for such a person." I really underestimated Song Qingming. I didn't expect that this kid didn't learn his lesson after being almost cheated by the Wang family last time. He even dared to follow them here. I really don't know what words the Wang family used to impress him and let this kid work for them like this. Just as everyone at the scene was whispering, a black dot that was getting bigger and bigger suddenly flew in the sky not far from the market. After getting closer, everyone realized that it was an extremely huge yellow flying boat. What a big flying boat! Who is this important person coming? A young foundation-building cultivator sighed as he looked at the huge flying boat that was getting closer and closer. Upon hearing the young man's question, a disdainful voice came from the crowd. "Why are you making such a fuss, kid? You have no knowledge at all, but you dare to fish in troubled waters here. This is the large flying boat of the Lingyuan sect. It seems that they have brought a lot of people this time. Song Qingming has only been building his foundation for more than 10 years, and it is the first time he has seen such a huge flying boat." It was not until the yellow flying boat flew not far above the square that he could see the appearance of the flying boat clearly. The yellow flying boat was estimated to be more than 10 feet long and 3 or 4 feet wide. There were 20 or 30 monks in uniform standing on the bow, and there were several golden patterns printed on the Taoist robes. When the flying boat reached the top of the square, about 30 monks took it down directly from it and landed steadily in the middle of the square. "Fellow Taoist Jin, why are you the one who comes to the Lingyuan sect this time?" The old man who was originally sitting in the middle of the square had already stood up and clasped his hands and bowed to the middle-aged woman who was the leader of the group of yellow-robed monks who had just landed. The woman smiled at the two giants Henrin on the scene, returned the bow to the old man and said, "Junior brother Wang has not come out of seclusion since his retreat years ago, so the sect asked me to bring these useless juniors out to see the world for him. Oh. In that case, it seems that fellow Taoist Wang has got another opportunity. You young people all have extraordinary luck, which really makes me, an old man, envious." The woman surnamed Jin hurriedly said modestly, "Brother Wu Dao, you are joking. At my age, I have long lost hope in the path of Taoism. I can only come out to do some errands for the sect. How can I find opportunities?" After that, the woman nodded slightly to the young woman who was standing aside and did not speak, took light steps, and sat directly on an empty chair next to the old man. The dozens of disciples of Lingyuan sect who came with her also followed a woman out of the center of the square and stood on the open space not far behind her. Song Qingming looked carefully at these selected disciples and found that their cultivation was basically higher than his. When they looked at them in the square, there was a hint of arrogance on their faces. They should be elite disciples of Lingyuan sect. Before Song Qingming could retract his gaze, someone beside him shouted softly, "Over there are more people coming." Chapter 211 The Secret Realm opens. Song Qingming turned around and looked at the location pointed by the person who just spoke. He found that several shining sword lights appeared in the distant sky, and the people flying swords could vaguely see several white figures. When they got closer, they found that there were a group of figures floating behind these flying swords, followed by many people flying with swords. It was only because they were blocked by the people in front that they could not see them at first. The flying swords were traveling very fast in the sky. In just a moment, 20 or 30 sword lights fell into the square one after another. These monks who came with swords were all dressed in white. There were men and women. They were all beautiful and graceful, as if they were immortals who did not eat fireworks from the world. Seeing that they were so obviously different from everyone else in their dress, some monks around them who had seen them quickly shouted out the name Qingming. These Qingming were the unyielding sect of Wu state. Now there were 2 unyielding monks in the sect. Their strength was 3 points stronger than Xiaoyao sect. It was considered the strongest sect around Wei state. The giant monk who led the Qingming sect was a very young man with a handsome face and rosy lips. He didn't seem to like this noisy scene. After greeting several giant monks at the scene, he sat aside and began to close his eyes to rest. Several giant monks at the scene seemed to be used to this man's behavior and did not go forward to speak politely. Most of the disciples of Qingming sect looked very young, but their cultivation was not inferior to the disciples of Lingyuan sect who had just appeared. When these people appeared, they immediately caused a commotion among many monks at the scene. Even the disciples of Lingyuan sect, who had been a little arrogant just now, changed their faces a lot when they saw the disciples of Qingming sect, including them. Many monks at the scene saw the disciples of Qingming sect, and there was obviously a trace of fear in their eyes. It was obvious that everyone knew that these people from Qingming sect were not easy to mess with. Once they entered the secret realm and messed with them, they could only leave it to fate. Next, several waves of giant Henrin-led monks came to the square, but these people were not as impressive as before. They were all sent by giant sects in nearby small countries, and their number was also less than that of the several unyielding sects that had come before. They waited until noon, and there were no vacant seats in the square. As a bell rang on the square platform in the middle of the square, the elderly giant monk from Xiaoyao sect suddenly stood up. The old man glanced at the square again, whispered to the 2 foundation building monks waiting on the side, and then floated directly into the air and flew above the square, followed by a loud voice that resounded throughout the square. Fellow Daoists, 60 years have passed in the blink of an eye. This is the 3rd time that I have come to open the secret realm of Tair Lake. I am grateful to all Daoists for their kindness. There have not been many mistakes in the past 200 years. I will not say much about the rules. Everyone should come forward in turn. Each person should hand in 100 spiritual stones in exchange for the special identity token made by our sect. Then you can directly teleport into the secret realm from here. Our Xiaoyao sect is only responsible for sending everyone into the secret realm. As for what will happen inside, it has nothing to do with us. This matter is entirely voluntary. If you don't want to, you can leave now. As soon as the old man finished speaking, the square platform in the middle of the square was operated by several Xiaoyao sect disciples. A burst of white spiritual light soon lit up. The formation above this stone platform looked not much different from the teleportation formation that Song Qingming used to go to the Xiandan League auction, but this teleportation formation was obviously larger, and it was estimated that many more people could be teleported. The latest to enter were the cultivators of the Xiaoyao sect, who had been waiting for a long time. Song Qingming counted them from a distance and found that there were about 30 of them. It seemed that the number of disciples sent by the major nascent soul sects was about the same. It was unknown whether this was agreed upon by them. Among the disciples selected by the Xiaoyao sect, Song Qingming not only saw Su Ziyan, whom he had met a few days ago, but also her master Liu Xingfeng. Song Qingming had not seen her for decades, and now Liu Xingfeng looked a little more haggard than before. When she fought with Yang Wuqi in the floating cloud mountains, Liu Xingfeng's cultivation level was already at the 4th level of the foundation building. Unexpectedly, after nearly 40 years, her cultivation level was only raised to the 6th level of the foundation building. Compared with Su Ziyan, who had broken through to the 4th level of the foundation building after more than 30 years of foundation building, Li Xingfeng, as a master, did not seem to have a brighter future in cultivation than his apprentice. Liu Xingfeng has been building her foundation for nearly 100 years, and now she can be regarded as an old-fashioned foundation-building cultivator of Xiaoyao sect. If she does not make a breakthrough in her cultivation, she may not have the opportunity to form a pill until her lifespan is exhausted. Before entering the teleportation array, many cultivators of Xiaoyao sect handed over a medium-grade spirit stone in front of the cultivators guarding the teleportation array in front of many cultivators on the scene, and then walked into the teleportation array, and then turned into a white light and disappeared on the spot. Song Qingming did not expect that Xiaoyao sect's own cultivators would also need to hand in spirit stones when using this teleportation array to enter the secret realm. He did not know whether they were doing this for show to the cultivators who came to visit the secret realm, or whether they really had to pay for it out of their own pockets. After the Xiaoyao sect cultivators were teleported, the cultivators of the Xingchen sect, Lingyuan sect and other major sects entered the teleportation array one by one, and finally it was Song Qingming and other cultivators who had arrived here early in the morning. When most of the monks in the square had left, it was Song Qingming's turn. He stepped forward and generously took out 100 low-grade spirit stones and handed them to the Xiaoyao sect monks guarding the teleportation array. Soon he also received a blue jade card to prove his identity and followed Wang Shengxin and others into the teleportation array. When they came, the Wang family had already agreed with them that the spirit stones used for the teleportation into the secret realm would be paid by their Wang family, but of course they would also have to share more of the treasures obtained in it. Song Qingming naturally had no objection to this. Anyway, he had already thought about it. After entering, he would follow the Wang family and act together. Once he received the news of the Fire Phoenix, he would have to find a chance to leave them. As for what treasures the Wang family would get in the secret realm, he was not very interested. Although Wang Shengyu had praised the secret realm of Taiyu Lake to the skies when she invited him before, Song Qingming was more or less aware that what she said was definitely exaggerated. Besides, with so many people entering the secret realm today, it would be difficult for them to get the good stuff even if there were any. Chapter 212 Watching the Battle. After entering the teleportation array, with a surge of spiritual power, Song Qingming immediately felt a familiar dizziness, and a moment later they appeared on a flat stone platform. Looking around, Song Qingming found that the stone platform seemed to be in the valley of a small hill. Judging from the time it took to teleport, Song Qingming felt that it should not be too far from Taiyu Lake Market. However, the surroundings and the sky were covered by a white fog, as if they were completely isolated by a mountain protection array, and it was really hard to see what the scenery outside looked like. Just after being teleported, some people in the crowd were still a little uncomfortable. The Xiaoyao sect monks guarding this end of the teleportation array waited until everyone recovered on the platform and led them to the other side of the hill. Before they got there, Song Qingming saw a circular black hole in the air on the hillside, and bursts of black spiritual light appeared from time to time around it. It seemed that there was the real entrance to the secret realm. After reaching the bottom of the black hole, Song Qingming saw that there were more than a dozen disciples wearing Xiaoyao sect costumes standing in front of him, and there was a middle-aged man with unfathomable cultivation sitting beside him. After seeing the face of this person, Song Qingming instantly showed a trace of surprise. He didn't expect that there was a giant and cultivator with a high cultivation sitting here. The giant and real person sitting here was named LV Boyang. When the monsters were in turmoil more than 10 years ago, it was he who led the Huiyan Mountain cultivators to counterattack Jin Shinfang. At that time, he was besieged by monsters and fought 2 giant and monster kings alone. After being injured, he returned directly to Xiaoyao sect to recuperate. After that, Song Qingming never saw him again. Xiaoyao sect actually dispatched 3 giant and cultivators at once for this secret realm, which shows that they really attach great importance to this matter. After checking the tokens on Song Qingming and others one by one and confirming that there was no problem, the Xiaoyao sect cultivators let them all go. After approaching, Song Qingming could see the black hole in the air. It was more than 10 feet in diameter, as deep as an abyss, with violent hurricanes blowing from time to time. After arriving here, soon some monks who were familiar with the place flew directly to the black hole. Song Qingming and Wang Shengxin were unwilling to lag behind, and all rushed to the front of the team. The entrance of this secret realm looked very different from the entrance of the secret realm that Song Qingming had entered in the floating cloud mountains. The entrance of the secret realm in the floating cloud mountains opened by the fire phoenix was very unstable, and the interface true fire inside would leak out. Even if the foundation building monks were touched, they would definitely hurt their bodies. In comparison, this black hole in the air was much more stable. There were only some hurricanes at the entrance, which would not have much impact on the foundation building monks. After entering the black hole in the air, Song Qingming soon fell into darkness. As he went deeper and deeper, Song Qingming's consciousness gradually could not sense the monks around him. After about a cup of tea, Song Qingming felt a black fog rolling around him. His eyes lit up and he fell directly from the sky. Fortunately, there was a sand dune below, so there was no danger. Song Qingming turned in the air and landed steadily on the ground. The secret realm was extremely dangerous. There were not only monsters and traps, but also monks ambushing in the dark. Song Qingming didn't dare to walk around here alone. He quickly left the sand dunes and found a natural stone cave to hide first. Taking out a small silver mirror and looking at it, Song Qingming found that his position was not too far from Wang Shengxin. He gradually felt relieved. As long as he could meet up with this 9th level foundation building monk, he should not worry about his own safety for the time being. Before entering the secret realm, Wang Shengxin had already told them that even if they went in together, they would automatically separate after entering. This was similar to the secret realm in the floating cloud mountains. Song Qingming entered it twice and landed in different positions. In order to facilitate a quick reunion inside, the Wang family specially took out a magic weapon green jade mother and child mirror. As long as the two monks holding the letter bronze mirror are within 3,000 miles, they can feel each other's position. Song Qingming is holding the child mirror, and the mother mirror is in Wang Shengxin's hand. As long as Song Qingming moves forward according to the direction shown in the mirror, it is estimated that it will take only a few days at most to find the other party. If Wang Shengxin also moves towards him, the time for the two to reunite will be greatly shortened. However, Wang Shengxin should not move his position casually. After all, the mother mirror is in his hand, and the other three can only move towards this position. Once he moves his position casually, it will be difficult for others to find him after he exceeds the range. After determining Wang Shengxin's position, Song Qingming walked out of the stone cave directly, used the light body technique and started running wildly. It's not that you can't fly in the secret realm, but flying in it with a sword is too conspicuous, and it is easy to become the target of the monks lurking around. It is far less safe than rushing on the road below. Using the light body technique to rush on the road will indeed be a little slower, but Song Qingming is not in such a hurry. Safety is naturally the most important thing for him. However, not all the cultivators who entered here were as cautious as Song Qingming. Song Qingming had only walked forward for less than an hour when he saw several sword lights flying in the sky. Song Qingming paid close attention and found that the cultivators who dared to appear in the air like this were basically late-stage, foundation-building cultivators with higher cultivation. People with lower cultivation like him were more cautious. After walking forward for a while, Song Qingming suddenly heard a noise coming from the front. After getting closer, Song Qingming found that a second-level inferior crocodile was preying on a first-level wild boar monster on the road ahead. Although Song Qingming saw several mature first-level superior spiritual medicines next to the two monsters, he did not choose to be greedy, but prepared to bypass this place and rush forward. Now everyone has just entered the secret realm. Most people, like Song Qingming now, are in a hurry to find their teammates. Now should be the safest time to travel. As long as he is not entangled by monsters on the road, he should be able to quickly meet up with Wang Shengxin smoothly. Just as he was about to get up, a thunderclap suddenly struck the second-level crocodile monster. After a crackling sound, smoke rose from the second-level crocodile monster, and it gave up the half-dead wild boar at its feet and rolled to the side. Seeing the thunderclap fall, Song Qingming froze in place for a moment, not daring to move. It seemed that there were other cultivators here. Fortunately, he didn't show up greedily, otherwise he would be taken advantage of by others. Chapter 213, Reunion. After the demon crocodile rolled on the ground, it stood up again in anger. A young man had appeared not far from it. Judging from the golden pattern embroidered on his clothes, he was a disciple of the Lingyuan sect. Song Qingming lay on the ground, his eyes fixed on the front. He was still hundreds of feet away from the battlefield, Although the opponent's cultivation was higher than his, it would be impossible for him to be discovered unless he had a particularly outstanding spiritual sense. The demon crocodile, which had been hit, looked angrily at the Lingyuan sect monk who was getting closer and closer to it. After its huge eyes, which were bigger than its fists, turned around, it suddenly kicked its forelegs hard, opened its bloody mouth and rushed towards him at a high speed. The young man's cultivation had reached the 6th level of foundation building. Facing the 2nd level inferior demon beast, he was very calm. When he saw the demon crocodile rushing towards him, a trace of disdain appeared at the corner of his mouth. When the demon crocodile was less than a few feet away from him, the young man suddenly showed a palm-sized green ring and cast a spell to throw it at the demon crocodile. The cyan ring suddenly grew larger in the air, and then 3 identical rings appeared, trapping the demon crocodile in one of them, causing it to stop in place. The trapped demon crocodile tried to break free of the cyan ring with brute force, but found that the magic weapon was very tough and could not let it do so. It could only roll on the ground anxiously. The Lingyuan sect monk saw that the demon crocodile was under control, and quickly stepped forward to put the spiritual medicines into his bag. Although the quality of these spiritual medicines was not too high, they were worth hundreds of spiritual stones in total, which was still worth a foundation-building monk. Under normal circumstances, compared with these spiritual medicines, the demon beast materials on the 2nd level demon crocodile were obviously more valuable, but after the Lingyuan sect monk picked the spiritual medicines, he directly put away the cyan ring and quickly left the place without even looking at the demon crocodile again. After seeing this scene, Qingming was sure that what Wang Shengyu had said to him before was indeed correct. The various monsters in here were all nurtured in the secret realm. Their overall strength was slightly weaker than that of the monsters outside. It was not difficult for the foundation-building cultivators who came in to kill 1 or 2 level 2 monsters in here. However, after these monsters died, they would naturally disappear in half a day at most. There was no way to take the materials on them out of the secret realm. The cultivators who entered here basically came for spiritual objects. As long as these monsters did not cause trouble, everyone would not waste energy to kill them. This should be the same as the secret realm in the floating cloud mountains. At the beginning, Qingming killed several low-level monsters in there with his own hands. After a few months, when he entered for the 2nd time, he found that they reappeared in the same place. After a while, when the Lingyuan sect monk left here for a while, Qingming finally got up slowly and walked away from here in the opposite direction of the Lingyuan sect monk who had just left. After bypassing this place, Qingming entered a swamp. With many years of experience in hunting monsters, Qingming felt that there must be many monsters hidden here. He slowed down his pace a little and put on the hidden spirit shirt that he had exchanged from Li Hongyu. Although the hidden spirit shirt can hide the figure of the monk, it is not very useful when facing the monks of the same level at close range. It can be easily detected by the spiritual sense emitted by the monks. It is only useful when facing monsters with low intelligence. With this robe to help hide his figure, as long as he is not too close, the ordinary monsters here will definitely not find Qingming's traces. However, the hidden spirit shirt consumes its own mana very quickly and cannot be used for a long time. It can only last for half an hour at most, which is just enough for him to pass through this dangerous swamp. The size of this secret realm seems to be slightly larger than the one in the floating cloud mountains. After Qingming came in, he had walked for several hours. On the ground, except for the young monk from the Lingyuan sect, he had not met any other monks. Looking at the green jade mirror in his hand again, Qingming was somewhat surprised to find that Wang Shengxin's position seemed to have moved a lot. According to the agreement between the few people before, he should try to stay in place and wait for everyone to gather together and act first. He didn't know if something happened to him. At this time, Wang Shengxin, who was thousands of miles away, was on a big tree, looking nervously not far behind him. He was a little unlucky. The place where he fell happened to be next to a group of golden armor bees. Wang Shengxin's movement soon alarmed the patrolling golden armor bees nearby, and hundreds of golden armor bees surrounded him in an instant. Although these golden armor bees are not strong individually, the most powerful is only the first-class upper grade, but it is different when tens of thousands of them unite. Even a master like Wang Shengxin, who is at the 9th level of foundation building, has to choose to flee immediately in the face of such a situation. These golden armor bees are not only numerous, but also very vengeful. When Wang Shengxin encountered them, he just killed hundreds of them for self-protection, and they chased him for hundreds of miles in one breath. After resting on the tree for a while, Wang Shengxin finally found that there were no more golden bees chasing him. He finally had time to take a breath. At this moment, he had been stung by these golden bees for more than a dozen times. Although he had taken detoxification pills on the way, there were still some places on his body that had not yet subsided. He looked really embarrassed. After resting for a while, Wang Shengxin opened the green jade mother-child mirror in his hand and found that during this period of time, the other 3 people holding the sub-mirrors had moved closer to his position. Only then did he slowly relax and wait in this place with peace of mind. After half a day, when it was dark, Wang Shengyu, who was closest to him, arrived here first. Seeing that many parts of the patriarch of his own cultivation were injured, Wang Shengyu was also full of surprise. She didn't expect that with Wang Shengxin's cultivation at the peak of foundation building, he would become like this in less than a day after entering the secret realm. Although she encountered several waves of monsters along the way, her luck was relatively good. The monsters she encountered were not very powerful first-level monsters, which did not pose any threat to her. It was not until Wang Shengxin told her about his experience in detail that Wang Shengyu finally understood what had happened. She couldn't help but feel a little scared. Even Wang Shengxin didn't escape safely when he encountered them. If she had fallen into the group of golden armored bees as soon as she came in, it would be difficult for her to escape. After the two talked for a while, another person arrived here. To Taoist friends, I am glad to see you. Chapter 214 Golden Armor Bee. Wang Shengxin and Wang Shengyu smiled when they saw the newcomers. Fellow Taoist Song, did you have a smooth journey? Song Qingming, who was walking towards the two of them, sighed and said, I didn't expect there were so many monsters in this secret realm. I took a lot of detours to get here. This time the secret realm is open, and there are indeed more monsters than before. I just came in and ran into a group of golden armored bees. They chased me all the way before I escaped. Wang Shengxin looked at his wounds that had not yet healed, smiled and shook his head. Fellow Taoist who hasn't arrived yet, let's rest here first. The secret realm will not be closed until a month later, so we don't have to be too anxious. Wang Shengyu pointed to a relatively clean open space next to him and greeted Song Qingming. After approaching, Song Qingming also saw that Wang Shengxin seemed to have some injuries on his body. He was also shocked. He didn't expect that the first one to encounter danger among the few people was Wang Shengxin, who had the highest cultivation level. Seeing Song Qingming's face change slightly, Wang Shengyu on the side hurriedly explained a few words and told him again about Wang Shengxin's previous experience. After she finished speaking, Song Qingming finally understood the reason and whispered, I didn't expect that there would be such a difficult monster beast as the golden armor bee in here. If it were me who encountered such a crisis, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to meet you Taoist friends again today. Wang Shengxin shook his head and said, Fellow Taoist Song, don't be too panic. Danger always coexists with opportunities here. When fellow Taoist who arrives, we will go to meet this group of monster bees together. What? Fellow Taoist Wang still wants to attack that group of golden armor bees. Did I hear it right? Hearing what Wang Shengxin just said, Song Qingming almost thought that there was something wrong with his ears. He had been chased by the golden armor bees for hundreds of miles, and he still dared to go back to attack them. Could it be that the old man Wang Shengxin's brain was stung? He was able to escape safely, but that doesn't mean others can do it. If Wang Shengxin just walks away and leaves them to the golden armored bee colony, it will be a loss. Thinking of this, Song Qingming's face was already full of displeasure. When I was escaping from the golden armored bee nest, I accidentally saw a second grade top grade 5 color flower there. This spiritual object grows next to the golden armored bee nest. It will definitely not be taken away by anyone now. We will rush over directly after meeting up with fellow Taoist who. It will definitely be in time. Second grade top grade 5 color flower. This is a rare thing. Brother Jiu, you are not mistaken? Wang Shengyu's face immediately showed a hint of joy after hearing this. Even Taoist Wang, your cultivation level is not enough to deal with those golden armored bees, so what good will it do to add a few more of us? The 5 color flower is nice, but it just happens to grow next to the golden armored bee's nest. Even if we want to, we are powerless. Song Qingming saw that the two Wang family members were full of passion after seeing the 5 color flower, and seemed to have really made up their minds to provoke the golden armored bees. He couldn't help but back off in his heart. and hurriedly persuaded Wang Shengxin again, hoping that Wang Shengxin could give up this dangerous idea. Wang Shengxin saw that Song Qingming seemed to have no confidence, and hurriedly said to him, "Taoist Song, don't worry, I still know a thing or two about the golden armored bees. This time I brought a few second-level formations with me. As long as you rely on the formations and cooperate properly, you will be able to hold back most of the peaks. As for getting the medicine, leave it to me." Hearing that Wang Shengxin was full of confidence and took the initiative to take the most dangerous task, Song Qingming couldn't say anything more, and could only nod his head and agree to it. After the discussion, they rested in the same place for another night. It was not until the next morning that Hu Longhe, who was also a little embarrassed, arrived here. The reason why he came so late was that he accidentally ran into second-level spiritual medicine on the road. He was also a little unlucky. After driving away the monster guarding the spiritual medicine nearby, he was about to go forward to pick it, but someone got there first. In anger, Hu Longhe fought with this person. In the end, the two people with equal cultivation did not gain any advantage. In the end, this person escaped. He worked in vain. Now he is still a little indignant in his heart. In this regard, Song Qingming and others are also somewhat helpless. Even if they want to help him, there are hundreds of cultivators in the secret realm. It is not so easy to find someone. They can only comfort him with words. Hu Longhe was already holding back his anger, and when he heard Wang Shengxin talking about dealing with the golden armored bees, he nodded and agreed without thinking too much. After the four of them flew east for hundreds of miles, they soon found the location Wang Shengxin mentioned. This was a sloping valley between two mountains. Standing at the bottom of the mountain and looking up, it felt like the shape of the entire mountain was like a reclining chair. Everyone observed outside the sloping valley and soon saw many golden armored bees flying out of it, and some flying in from the outside. Wang Shengxin took out a set of formation flags and gave them to Song Qingming and the other two, asking them to find a suitable place to set up the formation. He himself circled the sloping valley, looking for a suitable place to rush in. Song Qingming was originally a formation master, and he was very adept at setting up this formation. The three of them took less than 2 hours to set up this formation. This formation is called the Blue Flame Cloud Smoke Formation. It is also a formation that traps enemies. It can emit thick white fog in a large area, interfere with the sight of monsters, and make them lose their sense of direction. It can also release very powerful blue flames to attack the monsters trapped in the formation, especially restraining flying monsters or monster insects. After arranging the formation, Hu Longhe and Wang Shenggai were responsible for taking turns to lure the golden armored bees into the formation, while Song Qingming helped to operate the formation and trapped as many monster bees as possible, so that Wang Shengxin, who was hiding in the dark, could sneak into the inclined valley. After the few people assigned their respective tasks, Hu Longhe set out first and released a flying sword directly beside the valley to kill 4 or 5 low-level golden armored bees. With a buzzing sound, a swarm of hundreds of golden armored bees soon surrounded him. Hu Longhe saw the golden armored bees rushing towards him, and quickly ran back, releasing several spells while running to attack the swarm behind him. Soon, hundreds of bees followed behind Hu Longhe, and he successfully ran into the formation that had just been set up. As white smoke rose around the formation, except for a few that escaped in time, the remaining golden armored bees were all trapped in the white mist. Dao Hu, you did a good job. Seeing Hu Longhe's skillful actions in luring the golden armored bees, Song Qingming couldn't help but praise him. A cultivator like him who came from a casual cultivation background and had just established his foundation was indeed easier to cooperate with than ordinary cultivators. Chapter 215, The Strategy of Luring the Enemy. After the blue flame cloud formation was activated, Song Qingming controlled the formation to release several more blue flames. The flames turned into several blue fire dragons in the air, flying and rolling in the white mist, and soon burned most of the hundreds of golden armored bees trapped inside. Seeing the fire dragons raging in the formation, the remaining golden armored bees began to flee in all directions. Some of them were lucky enough to be rushed out of the white mist by the bees. However, before they could escape from here, several huge fireballs had already pounced on them. Wang Shenggai and Hu Longhe, who had been prepared on the side, quickly cast spells and attacked these golden armored bees. The shell of the golden armored bees is very hard, and it is difficult for ordinary skills and magic tools to hurt them. If you want to kill them quickly, the best way is to use fire attack. Whether it is a fire-attributed spell or a talisman, The lethality to them is very obvious, which will achieve twice the result with half the effort. This is also their biggest weakness. These golden armored bees are basically first-level monsters. Previously, they relied on their advantage in numbers to threaten Song Qingming and other foundation-building monks. Now most of the golden armored bees are trapped in the white mist by the Qingming formation. The dozen or so that escaped are no longer a threat to Wang Shengaiyu and her group, and were quickly killed by Wang Shengaiyu and Hulonghe. However, it took only an instant of time for Song Qingming and his group to eliminate nearly 1,000 golden armored bees that had just been lured into the formation with the help of the formation. Seeing that the plan went so smoothly in an instant, the three of them all smiled. As long as they come a few more times and weaken the number of bee colonies, the threat of this group of golden armored bees to them will become smaller and smaller. When everyone works together, it will only be a matter of time to eliminate the remaining golden armored bees. Next, Wang Shengaiyu also learned from Hulonghe to swagger into the inclined valley. After some deliberate provocation, Wang Shengaiyu ran back with a group of bees not long after. Although the swarm of bees attracted by Wang Shengaiyu was not as many as Hulonghe just now, there were still 200 or 300 of them. Several people followed suit and activated the formation to trap these golden armored bees. After a while, as the white mist in the formation dissipated, only a pile of golden corpses remained on the ground. After 2 actions, although the 3 of them had killed thousands of golden armored bees together, they also consumed a lot of mana in their bodies. The person responsible for luring the enemy needed a lot of mana to support the spiritual shield to protect himself, and the mana was consumed very quickly. Song Qingming, who had been controlling the formation, also needed to constantly consume his own mana. After the battle, Song Qingming and his men took out several key recovering pills, sat down on the spot and began to recover their own mana. Fortunately, before entering the secret realm this time, they were well prepared and carried a lot of such pills to restore mana. Even if they spent a few days with this group of golden armored bees, it would not be a big problem. After their own mana was mostly restored, they immediately began to repeat their previous action plan. In such a place, they had to hurry up to search for spiritual objects, otherwise, if they were discovered by other monks halfway, they might cause another unnecessary dispute. It was not until 5 or 6 times that the golden armored bee colony in the valley finally felt something was wrong. Unconsciously, they found that their colony had been reduced a lot compared to before. After a loud buzzing sound, a golden armored queen bee that was several times larger than the previous golden armored bee suddenly flew out of the hive. The queen bee was covered with a layer of golden armor and was half the size of a fist. It looked very majestic. After the queen bee circled around the nest, it quickly gathered several thousand golden armored bees, and then flew out of the valley with it. Hulonghe, who wanted to lure the enemy again, saw a black swarm of bees flying towards him before he reached the valley entrance. Moreover, he clearly saw that the queen bee flying in the front looked different from the other golden armored bees. It was probably at the 2nd level. So many golden armored bees were already a headache, and with this 2nd level queen bee, it was really not good. Hulonghe was startled and waved his hand to throw out a few 1st level talismans. Then, without even looking at them, he turned around and ran towards Song Qingming and the others without hesitation, shouting out what he saw while running. Song Qingming and Wang Shengaiyu heard Hulonghe's shouting from afar, and heard several violent noises in front. They looked closely and soon saw a huge swarm of bees behind Hulonghe. They were so scared that they quickly activated the formation together. After the Qingming formation was activated, a white mist quickly enveloped the 2 of them. Seeing that Hulonghe was getting closer and closer to them, Song Qingming quickly controlled the formation to reveal a gap and shouted at him. Before Hulonghe ran into the white fog, he turned around and fired a huge fireball at the back, disrupting the swarm of bees that were chasing him, and then quickly hid in the formation. The 3 of them controlled the formation together, and the power of the blue flame cloud smoke formation was also a little stronger than when Song Qingming controlled it alone before. The white smoke stretched for dozens of feet, firmly protecting them inside. The golden armored bee queen saw that the white fog was full of golden corpses, and she was immediately furious. Under her leadership, thousands of golden armored bees rushed directly into the white fog. Although the golden armored bees that entered the white fog would lose their way because of the formation, the number of golden armored bees brought by the queen bee this time was too large, and soon many golden armored bees accidentally flew directly in front of Song Qingming and the other 2. Seeing this, Hu Longhe took out a red flag from his waist and gently waved it at the golden armored bees that had already killed them. A wave of red spiritual power instantly entangled these golden armored bees. Some unexpected change happened, but the golden armored bees entangled by the red spiritual power suddenly stopped all movement, as if they fell into deep sleep, and fell directly from the air to the ground. To Taoist friends, concentrate on running the formation, don't let them easily pass through this defense. And leave these fish that slip through the net to me first. Hu Longhe's voice had just fallen, and a few more golden armored bees rushed over from a distance. He hurriedly waved the magic weapon in his hand to greet them. Surrounded by thousands of golden armored bees here, and there was a second-level queen bee outside, staring at them. Song Qingming and his friends really didn't dare to be careless. They didn't even dare to release the green flame in the formation casually, and just tried their best to control the white smoke to resist the golden armored bees that were rushing randomly in the formation. Less than half an incense stick of time had passed, and more golden armored bees broke through the formation. Hu Longhe, who was responsible for standing in front to resist, also felt that he was getting more and more tired. While struggling to resist the golden armored bees, he turned back and asked Song Qingming and the others for help. Chapter 216, First Battle Victory. They only defended but did not attack, which could only delay the attack for a while, and could not effectively kill the golden armored bees in the formation. Sooner or later, the blue flame cloud formation would be broken by the golden armored bees. Looking at the second-level queen bee in the formation, Song Qingming turned to Wang Shengaiyu and said, "Wang Daoyao, we can't hold on for long. Now that even the second-level queen bee has come out, there should not be many golden armored bees left in the valley. Hurry up and ask if they succeeded." As soon as Song Qingming finished speaking, a group of yellow smoke suddenly appeared at the entrance of the valley in the distance. After seeing this signal, Wang Shengaiyu, who was about to send a voice transmission, immediately stopped what he was doing. After seeing it, Song Qingming and Hu Longhe laughed without any agreement. This was the signal that several people had agreed with Wang Shengxian before. After seeing the yellow smoke, it meant that he had succeeded, and Song Qingming and others could immediately choose to retreat at any time. Just when Song Qingming and his two companions were fighting against the golden armored bee colony, Wang Shengxian, who had been lurking outside the valley for a long time, hesitated for a moment, and then decisively chose to attack immediately and broke into the valley alone. After the queen bee left, there were only a few dozen golden armored bees left patrolling near the nest. Wang Shengxian did not choose to get entangled with them too much, and ran directly to the second-level spiritual medicines. His goal was very clear. He came for these spiritual medicines, which was also the strategy they had decided before they started. Song Qingming and his two companions were responsible for attracting and weakening the golden armored bee colony, while Wang Shengxian took the opportunity to force his way into the valley and pick the spiritual objects they wanted. After seeing Wang Shengxian send out a signal of success, Song Qingming, Wang Shengaiyu, and Hu Longhe looked at each other and directly withdrew their mana. The Qingming cloud smoke array had just stopped running, and the white smoke that was thickly covering the golden armored bee colony in the array also quickly disappeared. When the fog just dissipated, Hu Longhe threw a red talisman in his hand in one direction. This red talisman was a second-level low-grade explosion talisman. As soon as the talisman flew into the air, the surrounding golden armored bees didn't know what it was, so they surrounded it directly. After hearing a deafening sound, the second-level explosion talisman exploded directly in the air, and then a huge ball of flames began to pounce on the surroundings. "Now, let's go." Hu Longhe saw that the explosion talisman had already exploded a gap in the golden armored bee swarm, and he was the first to rush out directly from that position. Wang Shengaiyu and Song Qingming saw this, and they were also unwilling to fall behind, and followed behind Hu Longhe. They didn't want to be left here alone. As soon as the three of them escaped from the gap, the golden armored bee queen immediately noticed this place and chased after them with all the golden armored bees. "Let's split up first, it will be easier to get away." After the three flew a distance, Hu Longhe saw that the golden armored queen bee chasing them from behind was flying at the same speed as theirs. He turned around and shouted to Song Qingming and the other two on the side, and then changed his direction first. Seeing this, Song Qingming didn't think much about it and also changed his direction, leaving Wang Shengaiyu alone to move forward in the original direction. Seeing that the few people suddenly separated, the golden armored queen bee circled in place and took most of the swarm to chase Hu Longhe. After Song Qingming changed direction, he found that the golden armored queen bee behind him did not chase him, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. This time his luck was good. Without the queen bee, he didn't take the 200 or 300 golden armored bees behind him seriously. If he didn't want to waste mana and spiritual objects, he would have wanted to turn around and kill these annoying things on the spot. After taking the golden armored bee swarm and circling around nearby, Qingming, who had consumed several low-level spiritual talismans, finally got rid of them completely. Half an hour later, Qingming returned to a forest more than 10 miles away from the golden bee colony in the valley. Not far ahead was the meeting point they had previously agreed on. Hey! Is fellow Taoist not back yet? After Qingming arrived, he took a closer look around and found that there were only 2 people from the Wang family here, so he asked directly. Wang Shengaiyu shook her head and replied softly, the queen bee seemed to go for him in the end. I don't know if fellow Taoist has escaped now, don't worry too much. With his ability, even if he is entangled by the queen bee, he will spend more effort. It shouldn't be a big problem to get out. Be patient and wait. Wang Shengxin was responsible for sneaking into the beehive to pick spiritual medicine this time, which was not an easy task. However, he was a little luckier this time. The queen bee was successfully lured out by Qingming and others. Otherwise, even if he could succeed, he would not be able to act so relaxed now. The 3 waited for another half an hour in the same place, and Hulonghe finally arrived here smoothly. At this moment, his face was already bruised and swollen by the golden armored bees. Seeing Hulonghe turned into such an ugly face, Qingming and others almost laughed. When they first saw him, they almost didn't recognize him at first. Hulonghe was unlucky. Qingming estimated that the reason why the queen bee chased him was that the explosive talisman he used at the end was too powerful, which attracted most of the hatred of the golden armored queen bee. Being chased by the queen bee and so many golden armored bees, he was able to escape, which was considered a good cultivation. If Qingming had encountered a golden armored queen bee, he might not be able to stand here so soon. After Hulonghe took a few detoxification pills handed over by Wang Shengaiyu, the swelling on his face soon healed a lot. Taking advantage of this time when everyone was resting, Wang Shengxin also took out all the spiritual objects he got on the Zigu this time. In total, they got 3 second-level spiritual medicines, 2 second-level top-grade ones, and 1 second-level low-grade one, all of which are popular types on the market. These 3 spiritual medicines together should be able to exchange for about 2,000 spiritual stones. Although it is not a lot, each person can only get a few hundred spiritual stones. But it is still a victory in the first battle and a good start. The secret realm has just been open for a short time, and it can be harvested. This is a good sign for everyone. These spiritual medicines are basically what Wang Shengxin wants. Qingming and Hulonghe did not want to fight for it. The 2 of them each got a few hundred spiritual stones. After the spiritual objects were divided, everyone's mood was much better. Especially Hulonghe, who has been used to poverty in order to build a family in recent years, has seen the spiritual objects in the secret realm. He can't wait to set out again to look for spiritual objects. Wang Shengxin, as the leader among the few people, is still relatively calm. Although he also wants more spiritual objects, he is still very clear about the crisis in the secret realm. Compared with the various monsters in it, those similar cultivators hiding in the dark are the greater danger. The last time I came in, I found a 3rd-level spiritual medicine not far from here. Let's try our luck there tomorrow. It will be easier to encounter monsters when traveling at night. Let's rest here for a night and set off tomorrow. Let's listen to fellow Taoist Wang. This is the first time for several of us to come here. We are not familiar with this place. It's always better to be careful. Hearing Wang Shengxin's words, Qingming quickly echoed him. In fact, he was the one who least wanted to take risks here. If his strength was not too low, after entering the secret realm, Qingming wanted to find a remote corner to hide. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Mysterious Valley. On a small hill in the southeast corner of the secret realm, 3 casual foundation building cultivators in ordinary clothes walked and carefully observed the environment around them. The cultivation bases of the few people who joined together were not high, and they really did not dare to fly in the secret realm with swords. They could only walk in it with their legs like Song Qingming and the others. In the past few days, those who dared to fly in the sky with swords in the secret realm were basically the cultivators from the big sects. When they met them, cultivators like them who were casual cultivators really did not dare to provoke them, and they had to take the initiative to hide their whereabouts to avoid being targeted by them. The one with the highest cultivation base among the three was an old man in green clothes, who had the 6th level of foundation building cultivation base. The other two, one of them was wearing a yellow Taoist robe, who was only at the 3rd level of foundation building, and the other one had a slightly higher cultivation base, a short middle-aged man at the 4th level of foundation building. Before entering the secret realm, they also specially prepared a talisman that could temporarily locate themselves. With good luck, the places where they landed were not far apart, and soon the three of them got together in the secret realm. After crossing the hill, the old man in green clothes who was walking in the front looked ahead and suddenly shouted excitedly, "Look, fellow Taoists, there is spiritual energy overflowing in the valley ahead. There must be good things in it." The two people behind heard the old man's voice and hurried forward to take a closer look. Not far away, there was indeed a valley overflowing with spiritual energy, which appeared directly in front of them. In order to find some useful spiritual objects in this secret realm, the three people have spent a lot of spiritual stones. Apart from the hundreds of spiritual stones given to Zioao sect, the spiritual objects they prepared for use in the secret realm have almost exhausted all their savings. As a result, after several people came in, although they quickly gathered together, their luck has always been a little bad. After searching in this secret realm for a few days, they found 2 places with spiritual objects. In one place, they encountered 2 powerful 2nd-level monsters, and they did not dare to take action. Unfortunately, the other place had been taken by someone first. After searching around, they only took a few low-level spiritual herbs that were not valuable and looked down upon by others. Not long ago, the 3 people who were exploring in the secret realm were entangled by a powerful 2nd-level monster. They worked hard for a long time and consumed 2 2nd-level spiritual talismans. Although the 3 killed the 2nd-level monster, they wanted to collect the monster materials, but they watched the monster's body rot quickly, which made them stomp their feet in anger. Looking at the valley in front of them with abundant spiritual energy, the 3 of them suddenly showed a long-lost smile. In such a place with dense spiritual energy, they knew that there must be high-level spiritual objects in it without looking. They had wasted several days in the secret realm. This time, their luck finally turned. For a distance of more than 10 miles, for a foundation building cultivator, even if he did not fly with a sword, he could get there in a meal at most with the most basic light body technique. After a while, the 3 of them had already walked into the valley with a smile. The old man in green clothes who led the way walked into the valley and looked at the quiet surrounding plants and trees. He suddenly stopped and looked around. "Brother Zhang, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong?" the younger man in yellow asked with some confusion when he saw the cautious look of the old man in green. The old man in green shook his head and said slowly, "Nothing, I just feel that it's too quiet here, something is not right, I'm afraid there will be powerful monsters hiding inside. I didn't think of this, you are more careful, how about I release the spirit beast to explore forward, and then we'll see if we should go in." After the man in yellow finished speaking, he patted the spirit beast bag on his waist, and a 2-foot-long red-haired fox jumped out of it. After touching the head of his spirit beast affectionately, the man in yellow took out 2 golden pills from the storage bag and threw them into its mouth, then pointed forward. After receiving the command, the red-haired fox moved like a gust of wind and soon disappeared in front of the 3 people. Having Brother Li's spirit beast helping to explore the way has really saved us a lot of trouble. Feng Daoiao is right. Brother Li's red-faced fox is so clever. Although it is only a 1st-level demon beast, this kind of spirit beast has an extremely fast escape speed. Even when facing an ordinary 2nd-level demon beast, it can escape safely. It is really a good helper. The green-shirted old man and another short middle-aged man on the side saw that the spirit beast of the man in yellow had set off smoothly, and they all spoke up to praise him. Hearing the flattery of the 2, the man in yellow just waved his hand slightly, without showing too much modesty, and there was a confident smile on his face. Although he is the youngest one in the 3-person team and his own cultivation is not as good as the other 2, since entering the secret realm, his role here is no less than that of the other 2. Several people came together temporarily. No matter what spiritual objects they can get later, Whoever shows more importance will naturally get more things. The man in yellow was thinking in his mind. The other two were not unaware of it either, but they did not have a spirit beast as clever as the red-faced fox, so they had to rely on him to explore the way. After the red-faced fox left, the three found a clean open space at the entrance of the valley and rested there for a while, waiting for the red-faced fox to come back and see what was going on inside. This valley was not small in size. The red-faced fox ran quickly for a full stick of incense before it came to the depths of the valley. It was smooth along the way and did not even encounter a low-level monster. In the depths of the valley, there was a stone platform on the hillside above. The red-faced fox sniffed below and felt that there was a very huge spiritual power on the platform above that attracted it. The red-faced fox stopped there for a while, hesitated slightly, but still could not resist the temptation and ran quickly along the mountain path to the platform. As soon as it jumped onto the platform, before the red-faced fox could make any move, a large golden net came directly over it. Seeing that the situation was not good, the red-faced fox turned around and tried to jump off the platform in another direction, but it bumped into a hard steel plate again, and was instantly bounced back to the original place and fell into the golden net. A young woman in white took a look at the red-faced fox trapped inside, which was still a little confused, and picked up the golden net and walked to the center of the platform. In addition to her, there were nearly 30 monks in white standing on the platform. If someone saw them here, they would definitely be very surprised. All the disciples of the Xingqian sect who entered the secret realm were here. Brother Liu, it seems that what I caught this time is not a native monster in the secret realm. It should be a spirit beast that has recognized its master. It seems that someone has entered the valley, the white-clothed woman holding the red-faced fox said slowly to a young man sitting in the middle of the platform, and carefully watched his reaction while speaking. Fellow brothers, please go and take a look down there. If someone really comes in, kill them right away. Remember, it's best not to leave the valley. We will be taking action soon. After the young man gave the order calmly, 5 white-robed monks who were standing beside him quickly walked out and jumped off the platform and headed down into the valley. Chapter 218, Respective Preparations. The young man who just issued the order was the leader of the Xingqian sect, Liu Zongping. This person's cultivation had already reached the peak of the foundation building. He was not only the person with the highest cultivation on the scene, but also one of the people in the Xingqian sect who had the most hope of forming a pill. Liu Zongping not only had a high level of cultivation, but also had a very handsome appearance. Although the cultivators of the Xingqian sect looked very young, their actual age was actually not much different from that of the cultivators of other sects. The reason why they looked young was that many of the Xingqian sect's techniques contained some anti-aging effects. After a long time, the yellow-clothed man outside the valley never saw the spirit beast he had sent out to explore the way back. His face, which was originally quite relaxed, slowly began to show a trace of worry. The 2 old men in green shirts beside him also felt something was wrong and hurried forward to ask. The yellow-clothed man checked and found that the spirit beast contract in his body was still there. He could only explain that it might be because the valley was too big and the red-faced fox forgot the time because of playing too much. After waiting for a while, there was still no movement at the entrance of the valley. The man in yellow could no longer sit still. This red-faced fox had been with him for decades. Although it would occasionally go AWOL, this was the first time he had encountered a situation where it never came back. If it weren't for the contract he had signed with the spirit beast, he would have thought that his spirit beast had died in the valley. My 2 fellow Taoists, the red-faced fox hasn't come back. It may be trapped in there. Should we go in and see what's going on? Fellow Taoist Li, don't be so impulsive. Even the red-faced fox is trapped. There must be a very powerful restriction inside. I actually felt something was wrong at the entrance of the valley just now. Fortunately, we didn't go in directly, otherwise it wouldn't be the red-faced fox that was trapped inside. Seeing the man in yellow standing up and wanting to go into the valley to take a look, the old man in green and another short monk hurried forward to stop him. After all, I spent many years cultivating the red-faced fox. How can I bear to abandon it like this? If you 2 fellow Taoists don't want to go together, why don't you wait for me here for a while? The man in yellow seemed very anxious, and he was about to move forward while talking. Seeing that he still wanted to enter the valley, the old man in green clothes persuaded him loudly, it's just a spiritual beast, so it's gone. If you risk your life for a spiritual beast, it will be your loss. Fellow Taoists have already reached the foundation building stage. Why are you still so confused? After hearing this, the man in yellow finally stopped and showed a thoughtful expression. After pondering for a while, he finally calmed down slowly, sighed and turned around slowly. Thank you for your reminder, Brother Feng. I was a little impulsive just now. If it is true as you said, there are powerful restrictions in this valley. What should we do now, Brother Li? It's good to think it through. It's not easy for us to reach the stage of foundation building for casual cultivators. Don't easily put yourself in danger for the sake of material things, don't you think? Although the spiritual objects in this valley are good, the level of our formations is very average. If we really trigger the powerful restrictions in it, it will be difficult to get out. Let's go to another place to find our own opportunities. What do you think? The old man in green said calmly. I don't have any opinion. Why not listen to Brother Feng? Seeing that the other two people except him had reached a consensus, the man in yellow could only look at the valley reluctantly, and then nodded. No matter how many spiritual objects there are in the secret realm, they are limited. Everyone knows that it will be harder to find good spiritual objects as time goes by. After finally finding such a valley with abundant spiritual energy, no one would be willing to leave empty-handed. After discussing for a while, the three of them turned around and left the place together, disappearing on the other side of the valley. Not long after they left, several Qingming disciples in white clothes quietly walked out from the depths of the valley. The yellow-clothed man and his friends didn't know that this time they had saved their lives. If they were still hesitant and stayed at the entrance of the valley, they would have a hard time getting away. On the other side of the secret realm, in a pool where two streams converged, several huge monster corpses were floating in the pool. Some parts of the corpses had begun to rot, and the whole pool was filled with a very strange smell of blood. More than 20 monks wearing Lingyuan sect costumes were resting by the pool. They had gathered here in the past 2 days after the secret realm was opened. Among them was the young man who had taken several spiritual herbs from the second-level demon crocodile territory that Song Qingming had seen before. At this moment, his expression was very relaxed, and he was still whispering to his fellow disciples about the various demon beasts he had encountered along the way in the past 2 days. At this time, a rustling sound suddenly came from the dense forest beside the pool, as if something was approaching here. The faces of the people at the scene who heard the sound changed, and they quickly turned their eyes to that direction. Two people who were closer had already taken out their magic weapons and carefully approached the location where the sound came from. As soon as they walked over, a tall and thin man with a somewhat ugly appearance suddenly jumped out of the forest and looked at everyone with a smile. Two brothers, what are you doing? Seeing that there were two fellow disciples holding magic weapons not far in front of him, the tall and thin man was frightened and froze his smiling face, and asked in confusion. Damn! Junior brother Li Long, you are already near here but you still don't dare to fly with your sword. No wonder you are so slow. Now that you are here, you are so sneaky. If you show up later, we might really kill you as a monster. The two laughed and teased him, then put away their magic weapons, pointed at the people behind them, and led the tall and thin man to the pool. After greeting many fellow disciples on the way, the tall and thin man came to a huge rock by the pool and bowed to a middle-aged man who was meditating on it. Hello, Senior Brother Wu, everyone is not here yet. Wait here for a while. We may leave at any time. Don't move around casually for the time being. The middle-aged man nodded to him calmly and told him kindly. The tall and thin man nodded and found a seat to sit down alone. As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, after the tall and thin man retreated, a beautiful young woman next to him suddenly came over and said softly, Brother Wu, we have been waiting here for nearly 3 days, and most of the people who came in from the sect have arrived. Should we set off first, so as not to be preempted by the people from the Xingqian sect and the Xiaoyo sect? Before everyone comes in, bring the jade butterflies specially refined by the sect. The remaining brothers and sisters who have not arrived yet probably came in from too remote a position. As long as we slow down a little, they will definitely be able to catch up. Faced with a woman's suggestion, Brother Wu did not answer immediately. Instead, he stood up first, glanced at the fellow disciples around him, and then turned around and said to her, Don't be too anxious. The inner valley is not so easy to enter. Even if they meet up faster than us, they may not be able to get in before us. There are still 2 hours left before the agreed 3 days for the meeting. Regardless of whether the remaining people can arrive or not, we must set off on time. Chapter 219 Inner Valley. In a dense forest, 5 or 6 people in red robes were holding magic tools and confronting 3 black monks. Although the red-robed party had more people, they had been fighting with the other party for most of the day and had not gained any advantage, especially the young man who was leading the other party. Not only was his cultivation very high, and he had already cultivated to the 9th level of foundation building, but he also cultivated a very rare thunder attribute technique, which was really difficult to deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, we found this pearl jade screen flower with great effort. While we were fighting the monster just now, you sneaked in to pick the spiritual medicine. You Xiaoyao sect are so bullying and too unruly. The man with the highest cultivation level on the red-robed party looked at the Xiaoyao sect young man who was leading the opposite side and said with a light mockery. The young man from the Xiaoyao sect standing opposite had a disdainful expression on his face. He raised a golden spear in his hand, pointed at the people opposite and laughed loudly. Don't say any more nonsense. Either keep coming over to fight, or get out of here. This is not a place for you Huarong sect to follow the rules. If you want spiritual medicine, you can get it with your ability. Seeing that the other party did not want to give in at all, the Huarong sect monks in red clothes were immediately caught in a dilemma. The other party's strength was not inferior to theirs, and the battle with the 2 monsters on the ground just now had consumed a lot of their mana. If they continued to fight, they would definitely suffer. You are so cruel. May I ask which Taoist friend of the Xiaoyao sect you are? Do you dare to leave your name? After thinking for a moment, the Huarong sect decided to take a step back and stop entangled with them. Li Yongguang from Xiaoyao sect, remember this, no matter which Taoist friend from Huarong sect wants to come and ask for advice, I am always here to accompany you. After the Huarong sect members glared at Li Yongguang fiercely, they gritted their teeth and left. After the other party had gone far away, the young man from Xiaoyao sect waved his hand, and a tall man beside him quickly took out the jade box and picked the pearl jade screen flower, and then handed it to him. Haha. Senior Brother Li, it's so easy to get a 3rd level spiritual medicine. It's better to follow you to save trouble. The people from Huarong sect, no matter how arrogant they are in front of those casual cultivators, they still have to stand aside when they meet us. Okay, it's just a 3rd level spiritual medicine, and you are so happy. The good things are all in the inner valley. You will be dazzled. After Li Yongguang took the jade box, he didn't even open it to take a look at the precious spiritual medicine inside, and threw it directly into the storage bag. Seeing that Li Yongguang was in a good mood, another older woman standing beside him took the opportunity to say, Junior Brother Li, we have wasted a lot of time on this journey. Why don't we go and meet up with Senior Brother Chen first, Alice? To enter the inner valley, we have to wait until the secret realm barrier weakens. It will probably take some time to see the situation. I really don't know why those people are in such a hurry. Although Li Yongguang still looked a little unhappy, he nodded and agreed to her proposal. After the 3 of them left here, they flew north directly on the sword. Half a day later, Li Yongguang and his companions came to a small hillside. Just after jumping off the flying sword, a group of Xiaoyao sect monks suddenly appeared on the side of the hillside and surrounded the 3 of them. Junior Brother Li, you really made us wait for a long time. Did you encounter any danger along the way? The speaker was an old man who had reached the peak of foundation building like Li Yongguang. They had been waiting here for a few days, but they had not seen Li Yongguang and the other 2. They thought they had encountered an accident. Until now, they saw that they were safe and sound, and finally put their minds at ease. We encountered a few gangs of thieves on the way, which delayed us for a while, Li Yongguang explained indifferently. Seeing the arrogant look in front of them, the Xiaoyao sect people at the scene had long been accustomed to it. After all, except for the leader Qingming who just spoke, Li Yongguang had the highest cultivation level among the people present. Whether in the world of immortal cultivation or in the sect, everyone still had to speak with their own strength. When Li Yongguang arrived, all the Xiaoyao sect monks who had entered the secret realm had already rushed here. After a short rest, all the Xiaoyao sect monks on the hillside stepped on their flying swords. At the command of the leader Qingming, dozens of sword lights rushed directly to the sky and went directly to the north. At the same time, in other directions of the secret realm, the monks from other sects such as Xingqian sect and Lingyuan sect who had already gathered together also began to move quickly towards the north of the secret realm. These groups of swordlights soon alarmed the other monks who were still searching for spiritual objects in the secret realm. Wherever they passed by, seeing such a grand scene in the sky, the other monks below were frightened and quickly found places to hide. On a tree more than 10 meters high, looking at the sword light that had disappeared in the sky in the distance, Song Qingming's face gradually relaxed, and he asked Wang Shengxin beside him, which sect did the cultivator just pass by belong to? Did fellow Wang see it clearly? Wang Shengxin stroked his beard and smiled. The distance is a bit too far, and I didn't see it clearly just now, but judging from the markings on their clothes, it seems that they are cultivators from the Zuanyu sect, so many of them are heading north. They must be going to the inner valley. When these cultivators from big sects leave the outer valley, it will be safer here for the time being. Hearing Wang Shengxin's words, Song Qingming and others also smiled. They had entered the secret realm for so many days, and in order to avoid the powerful cultivators from those big sects, they were always worried all day long when they were on the road, for fear of being targeted by these powerful characters. Now that these people have taken the initiative to go to the inner valley, they can finally relax. Friend Wang, we have been heading north for the past 2 days and have come up empty-handed. Now that people from the big sects are heading north, there are more people here. Should we change direction and head south? The speaker was Hulonghe. Compared to a few days ago, he no longer had a smile on his face. Since the battle with the golden armored bees, their fortunes have been a bit bad in the past few days. They have only found some relatively low-level spiritual objects along the way. This has made Hulonghe, who was very happy when he came in, a little impatient now. Wang Shengxin shook his head and said, Brother Hu, you don't know this. These people are all heading for the inner valley and basically won't look for spiritual objects around here. Now that the remaining people see them coming north, most people will definitely not choose this direction anymore. Going this way will actually result in fewer competitors. Chapter 220 Dusk Valley. Brother, what you said is indeed reasonable. I'll listen to you. After listening to Wang Shengxin's words, Hulonghe nodded in sudden enlightenment. The remaining Wang Shengyu and Song Qingming also nodded without objection. After entering the secret realm, the two of them basically followed Wang Shengxin's arrangements directly and did not raise any other opinions. When several people sat under the tree to rest for a while, Song Qingming touched the colorful feathers on his body and couldn't help thinking in his heart. It's been the 5th day since I entered the secret realm. The Fire Phoenix has not contacted me yet. I don't know if she has sneaked in. Since Song Qingming entered the secret realm, he has been waiting for the Fire Phoenix to give him a signal. He followed Wang Shengxin and the others just to have more self-protection power. As for which direction to go, he didn't care. Anyway, he still had to wait for the Fire Phoenix to tell him where he was going in the end. Fortunately, the entire Taiyu secret realm is so large. No matter where the Fire Phoenix wants him to go, it should take at most a few days to travel at full speed. At the northernmost part of the entire Taiyu secret realm, there is a huge canyon that spans half of a secret realm. It is called the Mushan Canyon. The canyon is full of white fog that covers the sky and is bottomless. From time to time, there are bursts of thunder-like sounds in the white fog, which makes people feel that it is very scary. The Mushan Canyon is silent within 100 miles around it. It is also wide and wrapped in a slightly lighter white fog. Generally, after the cultivators come here and take a look, they will basically leave immediately. They dare not walk into this unknown fog. Even if they are brave enough to rush in, they basically can't find any spiritual objects in it. After the secret realm was opened, although many cultivators passed by here, no one dared to enter it until 3 days later, when a young woman in red came here. The woman in red looked at the dense white fog in front of her, without showing any surprise, and directly raised her legs forward, and walked into the dangerous fog without hesitation, as if she had been here before. After walking forward for dozens of miles, the woman in red finally appeared at the edge of the canyon. Looking at the white mist pouring out of the deep valley, she calmly took out a bronze mirror from her body and placed it on the cliff on one side of the canyon. As the spiritual power in the woman's hand surged, the bronze mirror attached to the cliff wall emitted a dazzling red light, slowly sank into the cliff wall, and merged with the surrounding rocks. After doing all this, the woman in red smiled and nodded with satisfaction, turned around and left the canyon, and walked out the same way again. After walking out of the mist, the woman in red then walked towards a high mountain not far away. Not long after walking, there was a rustling sound in the bushes on the side in front. The woman hurriedly stopped and looked over, only to see a triangular head emerging from the bushes. It was a level 2 giant lizard monster that had been hovering nearby for a long time. What was a little strange was that after seeing the red-dressed woman not far away, This second-level giant lizard monster did not choose to attack her immediately, but just stared at her blankly for a few seconds. After a while, its huge head slowly shrank back and soon disappeared directly into the bushes. It was not until the giant lizard monster slowly left here that the red-dressed woman turned around and continued to move forward. After she saw the monster, she did not care about it, but left here on her own. If this amazing scene was seen by other cultivators who entered the secret realm, they would definitely be shocked. The cultivators who came here basically felt that the native monsters in the secret realm were extremely aggressive. Basically, as long as they saw a living person, they would take the initiative to attack. I don't know what special ability this red-dressed woman has. She can actually directly scare away a second-level giant lizard. After the red-dressed woman left here, the area around the Mushin Canyon soon fell into silence again, until a few days later, suddenly another group of people came here. This group of people were all dressed in white, and they all looked very young. They were the Xingqianmen monks from the Wu Kingdom. These Xingqianmen monks, like the woman in red a few days ago, directly broke into the white fog and came to the edge of the canyon. Liu Zongping, who was standing above the canyon, frowned and looked at the white fog in the canyon, then took out a few pieces of talisman paper that looked a little special from his storage bag. After Liu Zongping injected spiritual power, the talisman paper in his hand slowly flew into the air, turned into a few dancing paper cranes, and flew directly to the bottom of the canyon. This spell is a special secret method unique to the Xingqianmen, the Thousand Objects Spiritualization Technique. After learning this technique, some ordinary dead objects that have been refined in advance can be instantly transformed into living creatures with spirits. It is a very useful Pathfinder secret method, and not everyone in the Xingqianmen is qualified to practice it. Several small paper cranes slowly went down until they were about 100 feet below the canyon. Suddenly, there were several thunder and lightning sounds, and the paper cranes below instantly turned into a beam of fire and disappeared into the canyon. At the same time, Liu Zongping, who was sitting on the ground above the canyon and controlling the paper cranes, suddenly had a cloud of black smoke in his hand and slowly disappeared into the air. Liu Zongping slowly stood up and said calmly, "At present, the barrier below has not loosened at all. It is not the time to go down. Next, everyone will take turns to perform secret techniques and explore once every hour to strive for us to enter the inner valley first. Don't worry about the medicinal herbs in the outer valley. There are also some in the inner valley outside. Moreover, the elders have expressed their attitude when they came here. As long as we can successfully obtain the spiritual object inside this time, everyone will get a generous reward after returning to the sect." After hearing Liu Zongping's words, the disciples of Xingqian sect nodded one after another and guarded the edge of the canyon with full of enthusiasm. The bottom of the Mushin Canyon is actually the entrance to the inner valley of the Taiyu secret realm. The reason why Liu Zongping and his team didn't dare to go down is that there is a very powerful barrier below the canyon, which separates this place from the inner valley. If they go down rashly, they will basically be struck into ashes by the lightning above the barrier, like the paper cranes just now. They must wait until the power of this barrier weakens a little before they can use external forces to break through. When the power of the barrier weakens, it usually happens about 10 days after the secret realm is opened. From this time to the time when the secret realm is closed a month later, as long as you bring a few magic tools to resist lightning, you can basically pass through the barrier smoothly. This is also the experience summarized by the senior monks of several sects after thousands of years of exploration and countless sacrifices. After the Xingqian sect disciples arrived here, not long after, the monks of the Lingyuan sect on the other side of the Mushin Canyon had also arrived. Like the Xingqian sect, they explored the barrier in the canyon and chose to stay by the canyon. Chapter 221, Thunder Sign. Next, the monks from other sects, such as Zailuo sect, Huorong sect, Zuanayu sect, etc., all arrived at the edge of the Mushin Canyon one after another. The entire Mushin Canyon stretched for thousands of miles. After arriving at the canyon, the positions of the major sects were not the same, and it seemed that each had its own territory. Like Liu Zongping, they had been testing the situation of the barrier below at the edge of the canyon, waiting for the barrier to weaken. However, unlike the people from Xingqian sect, the major sects had their own unique methods, either using their own hidden secrets or operating some special spirit symbols and puppet beasts. For a time, the originally peaceful Mushin Canyon became very lively. In this way, as time went by, after 5 or 6 days, The barrier below the canyon finally began to weaken slowly. After discovering this situation, each sect immediately began to act, ready to pass through the barrier and enter the inner valley at any time. The first to enter the canyon were the Qingming monks, who arrived at the canyon first. After 2 consecutive tests, Liu Zongping put away the remaining paper cranes in his hand and shouted to the many fellow disciples who had been waiting for a long time, "Come to my side, get ready to go." Liu Zongping took out a white jade stick and used it to form a huge white shield, covering all the disciples of Qingming in it, and then led everyone to fly down to the bottom of the Dusk Canyon. In a cave 100 miles away from the canyon, the red-clothed woman who had been to the canyon first looked at a bronze mirror in front of her. The bronze mirror showed the scene of Liu Zongping and other Qingming disciples entering the canyon. After seeing this scene, the red-clothed woman slowly smiled. After the power of the barrier in the Dusk Canyon weakened, the white mist below also became slightly lighter, and some of the surrounding cliffs could be seen. Led by Liu Zongping, the Qingming descended very quickly. After passing through the white fog above the canyon, they fell into the darkness below the canyon. At this moment, in the pitch-black darkness, several white lights suddenly lit up. Before everyone could react, there was a loud bang, and a bolt of thick lightning quickly fell on the white shield they had propped up. After being hit by the lightning, the white shield shook slightly, and immediately splashed a piece of white sparks, illuminating the dark space nearby. After being hit by such a powerful lightning, the Qingming in the white shield were also shocked. If it weren't for the protection of the shield, most of them would have died on the spot after being hit by such a powerful lightning. Although they had blocked the attack, the people in the shield were still shaken by the thunder just now, and they almost couldn't stand. Before everyone could breathe a sigh of relief, several more powerful white lightning bolts struck the shield from all directions. This time, some Qingming monks in the shield were frightened and their faces turned livid. Although the power of 2 consecutive lightning bolts had already made the people inside dizzy, the shield supported by the white jade sticks outside still firmly withstood these attacks and did not cause much damage to the people inside. Seeing that the shield had such a strong defensive ability, the people of Qingming gradually relaxed their minds and began to wonder what kind of treasure the jade stick in Brother Liu's hand was that could block such a powerful lightning force. The treasure that Liu Zongping took out was handed to him by the giant and elder who led the Qingming team before entering the secret realm. This item was called the Yulai Scepter, which was a very powerful second-level upper-grade defensive magic weapon, especially for the lightning in the canyon barrier. It had a very good defensive effect, which was also the biggest reliance for them to enter the inner valley. After several lightning strikes, everyone got used to the thunder and lightning in the depths of the canyon and gradually relaxed. However, before they could be happy for too long, lightning flashed nearby and more terrifying lightning struck them again. On a sand dune in the northwest of the secret realm, a young man wearing a bamboo hat was walking fast alone. The young man carefully observed his surroundings while walking. In this secret realm full of dangers, there were not many people like him who dared to act alone. After half an hour, the young man finally walked out of the sand dune and came to a meadow. He happily took off his bamboo hat and revealed a very handsome face. This man was Qingming, who had been acting with the Wang family since entering the secret realm. It was just that he didn't know why he appeared here alone. Qingming sat down and rested for a while on the edge of the grass. He took out a half-foot-long golden feather from his storage bag and looked at it, then put it away and changed direction to move forward. Time goes back to half a day ago. Qingming and Wang Shengxin were happily on a plain, preparing to seize 2 second-level spiritual medicines from several second-level green bull monsters in front of them. These green bull monsters have average magical powers and are not difficult to deal with. As long as no one comes here to make trouble, it can be said that it is a sure thing for the 4 of them to obtain spiritual medicines. Just as they were discussing and planning how to obtain spiritual medicines more easily, Qingming, who was sitting aside, suddenly felt a strange spiritual power fluctuation coming from his body, which made his face change instantly and tense his nerves. After finding an excuse, Qingming walked aside and carefully explored it. He found that the strange colorful feather given to him by the fire phoenix caused the movement. Facing the feather that sent the signal, Qingming was also very confused. It has been more than 10 days since he entered the secret realm. Qingming and the Wang family have found many spiritual objects in the secret realm, which made him almost forget the fire phoenix's instructions to him. Qingming hadn't received any news from Fire Phoenix for such a long time. He felt more and more that he was right. The arrogant fire phoenix might not have sneaked into the secret realm directly. After all, this was the territory of the human race. When he entered the secret realm that day, Song Qingming felt it personally. There were 5 or 6 giant-level cultivators at the scene. As a demon beast, Fire Phoenix dared to show up there. Even if she was really a demon king, it would be difficult for her to escape the eyes of the human giant and cultivators. Anyway, he came in according to the agreement. Fire Phoenix couldn't come in by herself, and she didn't inform him in advance. She shouldn't blame him. Just when Song Qingming thought that he could follow the Wang family and slowly sneak into the secret realm, he didn't expect that Fire Phoenix had sent him a message not long ago. Chapter 222 The Purpose of Fire Phoenix. Since he had received a signal from the Fire Phoenix, Song Qingming naturally did not dare to play tricks in front of her. He had to hurry over, otherwise if he really offended her, his life would definitely be in danger. After making up his mind, Song Qingming returned to the team. Next, Song Qingming took the initiative to take on the task of luring the enemy, and then deliberately angered the group of green bull monsters during the operation, and was chased dozens of miles away by them. Song Qingming took this opportunity to stay away from Wang Shangxin and others, and then used all his strength to get rid of the monsters that had been chasing him, and went north alone. After Wang Shangxin and others got the elixir, they found that Song Qingming, who had lured the enemy, had not returned for a long time. They thought he had encountered an accident, so they quickly went to look for him nearby, but they still couldn't find any trace of him. Song Qingming followed the guidance of the colorful feather on his body and headed north carefully. When he encountered monsters from time to time, he had to put on the hidden spirit shirt to avoid them. Song Qingming, who was acting alone, did not dare to fly on the sword anymore and could only rely on his legs to hurry on. From the opening of the secret realm to now, the entire secret realm is still relatively harmonious. Everyone is searching for various spiritual objects on their own. If a spiritual medicine is favored by both parties at the same time, the weaker party will quickly choose to step back and look for spiritual objects in other places. There are very few life and death battles. However, with a continuous exploration of many cultivators, the spiritual objects in the secret realm will become less and less. It will gradually become difficult for everyone to find spiritual objects. The more powerful cultivators in it will gradually set their sights on other cultivators who have also entered the secret realm. After some exploration, everyone who enters the secret realm can find some spiritual objects, and directly getting rid of these people can also get everything on them. This is a very cost-effective deal. Some people have this idea. As time goes by, the entire secret realm will become more and more dangerous and bloody. Older monks like Wang Shangxin, who have entered here once, are still very clear in their minds that the time to search for spiritual objects can only be about the first 20 days. When the secret realm is closed, it is safer for everyone to find a place to hide together. Otherwise, if they really meet those powerful people, they will definitely attack them directly. There is almost no morality and rules to talk about here. After all, the Xiaoyao sect who is responsible for bringing them in has already said in advance that they will not care about anything that happens in the secret realm. Whoever dies in it next is a very normal thing. If there is no summons from the Fire Phoenix, Song Qingming should also go with Wang Shangxin to find a hidden place and hide until the end of the secret realm. After walking north for more than 2 days, Song Qingming finally saw the young woman in red in an inconspicuous cave. At this moment, Ho Feng had been waiting for him here alone for several days. After seeing Song Qingming, she still showed a little surprise on her face. "You are so slow, I thought you had died somewhere else." Song Qingming smiled bitterly and said, "You also know how dangerous it is in here. I have such a low cultivation level and I am alone. It is a life-threatening situation to be able to walk here. If I walk faster, I can only fly with a sword. I am afraid I will not be able to see you." "Okay, I know what you said, so don't say any more nonsense, just follow me. Is the place we are going to nearby?" Song Qingming asked with a puzzled look on his face. Ho Feng looked at him strangely, then slowly said, "Of course not here. I want to take you to the inner valley they mentioned. Once you get there, I will tell you what you should do." "Inner valley? You still have a way to go there?" Hearing this, Song Qingming was immediately surprised. He didn't expect that Ho Feng could not only sneak into the secret realm, but also know the location of the inner valley. Ho Feng nodded and said, "You can't find anything here. The real good things are basically in the inner valley. My goal will naturally be there, I heard that the disciples of several major sects in the surrounding area have already gone to the inner valley. Will we run into them if we go in now? Isn't this a bit too dangerous? If you want to get good things, how can you not take risks? Don't worry, I have my own way to get in, and I won't alarm them. After Hou Feng finished speaking, he turned around and glanced at Song Qingming. Following the fire phoenix, they flew directly in the air. Soon, they arrived at the northernmost part of the secret realm. Looking at the huge white fog, Song Qingming suddenly felt that there should be a dangerous place inside. Just as he was about to open his mouth to remind her, he didn't expect that the fire phoenix had already walked into the fog without looking back. Song Qingming was stunned for a moment, and then hurriedly followed and walked closely behind the fire phoenix. After passing through the fog, the two arrived at the Mushan Canyon safely. At this time, the monks of the Xingqian Gate had been in there for 2 days, and the place had returned to a quiet place. Looking at the huge Mushan Canyon, Song Qingming couldn't help showing a trace of shock on his face. He didn't expect that behind the fog they just passed through, there was actually such a huge canyon hidden. No wonder people who usually enter the secret realm can't find the entrance to the inner valley. It turned out to be hidden in such a secret place. The fire phoenix stood above the canyon and looked down. Then he took out a golden sphere and cast a spell to create a golden light shield, which also covered Song Qingming beside him. Before Song Qingming could react, the fire phoenix's spiritual light flashed quickly, and it took Song Qingming into the canyon. Senior, is this the entrance to the inner valley? After passing through the white fog, Song Qingming felt that the bottom seemed to be bottomless, and he asked again with some curiosity. You guessed right, you can reach the inner valley below by passing through the barrier below. It will be a little dangerous later. Don't be afraid, just stand close to me. Thank you for your reminder, Senior. I understand. After meeting in the secret realm this time, for some reason, Song Qingming could feel that the fire phoenix's attitude towards him was better than before. It was no longer as cold as before, and along the way, as long as he asked a question, the fire phoenix would answer him seriously. Just when Song Qingming was thinking about something, the surroundings had entered a dark place. With a thunder, 2 white lightnings struck directly at the two of them. Senior, be careful. Seeing that the 2 lightnings were very powerful, Song Qingming instinctively spoke up to remind them. Before he finished speaking, the 2 lightnings had already struck the tops of their heads. The golden sphere in Hou Feng's hand flew directly towards the 2 lightnings under her command. After a loud bang, the 2 lightnings suddenly disappeared near the golden sphere. A closer look revealed that the lightnings were actually absorbed by the golden sphere. This really shocked Song Qingming, who had practiced Taoism for so many years and had never seen such a powerful thing. This time, following Hou Feng was really an eye-opener. Hou Feng didn't care too much about Song Qingming's kind reminder. She remained calm and maintained her falling speed. Chapter 223 Ancient Magic Array. After the two of them entered the dark area in the canyon, the terrifying lightning has been surrounding them and constantly attacking them. Fortunately, the golden ball in Hou Feng's hand is really powerful. It is like a fat man who is hungry. No matter how many lightnings come, they will be swallowed by it in the end. Senior, your magic weapon is really powerful. I wonder what it is called. Looking at the golden ball in Hou Feng's hand, Song Qingming's eyes are full of envy. This thing is called the Thunder Pearl. It is made from the golden elixir in the body of the Thunder Bone clan, in our demon clan. It is not a magic weapon of the human race as you said. Hearing that this was made by a demon king's golden elixir, Song Qingming immediately opened his eyes and let out a sigh of relief. He originally wanted to find out what kind of magic weapon this is to see if he can also get one for self-defense in the future. Things made by the Demon King's golden elixir are basically equivalent to the magic weapons of the human golden elixir cultivators. Even if Hou Feng gave it to him now, Song Qingming did not have the ability to use it now. When practicing Qi and building the foundation, the cultivators can only use ordinary magic tools of the first and second levels. Magic tools above the third level are also called magic weapons. Only after the cultivation reaches the stage of forming a pill, the cultivators will have enough mana to drive them. No wonder the lightning gathering pearl is so powerful and can easily block these powerful lightning. After learning that this thing is a magic weapon, Song Qingming instantly figured out a lot of things in his mind. In this dark canyon, after descending for about a few hundred feet, the two of them suddenly saw light in front of them, and Song Qingming realized that they had passed through the dark area and fell into a white mist. Senior, This place is so dangerous. Why did you put away the lightning gathering pearl? Not long after falling into the white mist, Song Qingming saw the fire phoenix on the side suddenly put the lightning gathering pearl back in his hand, and his face was suddenly a little frightened. With those powerful lightnings around, ordinary foundation building cultivators would be seriously injured if they were hit head-on. If there was no lightning gathering pearl to resist, Song Qingming himself would not be sure to survive here. Why are you panicking? We have already passed through the barrier. There is no danger here for the time being. Just follow me closely. Song Qingming looked around and found that the lightning that had just surrounded the two of them had disappeared. He suddenly realized something and slowly put his mind at ease. He followed the fire phoenix and continued to fly directly downward. Half an hour later, the two landed on a small hillside full of rocks. After looking around, the fire phoenix took Song Qingming to a stone platform with a radius of 2 or 3 feet in the rocks. The stone platform was square and only 3 feet high. There were some very simple patterns carved around it, like a small altar that had been abandoned long ago. The stone platform was also in a mess. Most of it had been covered by rocks of all sizes, which made it not very noticeable on this small hillside. If it weren't for the fire phoenix leading the way, Song Qingming would have found it difficult to see this place at a glance and the place full of rocks around. Seeing the fire phoenix stopped at the stone platform, Song Qingming instinctively looked around. Then he felt something was wrong, and said with a puzzled look, "Senior, it seems that there was a magic array here, right?" After looking at Song Qingming with some surprise, the fire phoenix said softly, "You can see it so quickly, it seems that it is right to bring you here this time. The next thing you have to do is to help me open this restriction, understand? This magic array looks like it was set up by an ancient cultivator. I can't guarantee whether it can be opened smoothly. Anyway, don't worry, now that I'm here, I will naturally try my best." Seeing that the fire phoenix brought him here just to break this restriction, Song Qingming slowly figured out some things. It seems that when the fire phoenix first saw him in the floating cloud mountains, he had already noticed his identity as a formation master, which led to this trip to the Taiyu Lake secret realm. "Okay, I'll leave this to you. I'm here. If you need any help, just tell me." Ho Feng heard what Song Qingming said, and didn't say much. She walked directly to a big rock beside her and closed her eyes to rest. Although the lifespan of the demon cultivators is several times longer than that of the human race, they are far behind the human race in terms of immortal cultivation skills. Only a small number of high-level demon beasts with great intelligence can understand some immortal cultivation skills. Although Ho Feng's cultivation has already stepped half a foot into the nascent soul realm, if we compare the way of formation, who can break the restriction on the stone platform in front of her, she may not be better than Song Qingming. Song Qingming stepped forward and carefully checked the stone platform, and slowly saw some of the details of the formation in front of him. Although this formation is a rare ancient formation, it is actually not as complicated as Song Qingming thought at the beginning. In addition, so much time has passed, and the power of the restriction on it has also weakened a lot. Moreover, for unknown reasons, many parts of this formation had been forcibly destroyed. Song Qingming didn't know whether it was done by Ho Feng, who was standing by, and he didn't dare to ask her directly. After such an inspection, Song Qingming was somewhat confident that he could successfully break this restriction, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Since learning the art of formation, he has also studied a lot of formations outside over the years, and also integrated the formation books of the Liu family. Although his formation level is not yet at the second level, he is still very confident in facing this incomplete restriction. If he is given a few days at most, he will be sure to complete the task assigned by Ho Feng this time. With confidence, Song Qingming gradually relaxed his mind, and he already had several ways to break this restriction. After thinking about it, Song Qingming finally chose the most reliable method. Although it would take a little longer and take a few days, the success rate of this method is still very high. Anyway, Ho Feng didn't give him a time limit to break the restriction, so he didn't need to keep studying other methods. After making up his mind, Song Qingming took out a set of formation flags from his storage bag and inserted them around the platform. 2 days later, with a flash of white light, the restriction on the stone platform was finally removed, revealing the true face of the stone platform. Originally, there was nothing on the stone platform, only a pile of messy stones. Now that Song Qingming had broken the restriction, a dark hole about the height of a person appeared in the middle of the stone platform. At this time, Ho Feng, who was sitting next to her, suddenly opened her eyes. After she looked at the stone platform, a satisfied smile slowly appeared on her face. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224, Entering the Inner Valley. At this time, about 200 miles away from here, 4 Xiaoyao sect monks were sitting around a magic circle waiting, and there was another yellow magic circle outside to protect them firmly inside. Senior Sister Cheng, Senior Brother Li and his friends have only been in for 3 days, and they will not come out for at least a few days. Should we go around nearby to see if we can find 1 or 2 spiritual objects? A younger monk with a long face asked a young woman who was leading a group of people. The woman surnamed Cheng shook her head at this person and said seriously, I advise you to put away your thoughts. You have not seen any spiritual objects nearby along the way. If you want to find spiritual objects, you can only go to the inner valley. You must remember that our main task now is to keep an eye on this magic circle entrance to the inner valley. Otherwise, if something goes wrong here and affects Junior Brother Li and his friends from getting things inside, everyone will face the punishment of the law enforcement hall when they return to the sect in the future. Seeing that the woman was still unmoved, the young monk with a long face could only nod helplessly and retreat to the side. At the same time, in a valley with a radius of several hundred miles at the other end of the formation, the monks of the Xiaoyao sect who had entered this place were besieging a huge golden armored giant turtle. Various colorful spells, magic tools, and talismans were flying everywhere in the sky. This golden armored giant turtle was more than 10 feet tall, and the tortoise shell on its back was covered with a layer of golden armor, making it very invulnerable to swords and guns. The attacks of the people of the Xiaoyao sect were like tickling it, and did not pose much threat to it. Li Yongguang used a powerful fire thunder technique that he had prepared a lot of and hit the giant turtle, but found that it only took a few steps back and stabilized its body. He couldn't help but frown slightly. The golden armored giant turtle roared after standing firm, and rushed towards the Xiaoyao sect again. Although its speed was not very fast, its body was very hard. Several monks of the Xiaoyao sect were just touched by it lightly, and they immediately vomited blood and flew more than 10 feet away. Although this ghost thing is not very strong, its skin is really tough. Junior Brother Li, let's retreat first. Let's prepare the monster hunting formation and come back. Seeing that Li Yongguang still wanted to attack, the old man surnamed Chen quickly persuaded him. The golden armored giant turtle in front of him has reached the 3rd level monster. Although it is also a monster generated in the secret realm, its intelligence and strength are far inferior to the real golden elixir monster king outside, but it is still a threat to a group of foundation building cultivators. Li Yongguang tried to attack several times in succession but to no avail. He had to put away his magic weapon, agreed to the old man's suggestion, and temporarily withdrew from this place with everyone from Xiaoyao sect. Strangely, this golden armored giant turtle was different from the monsters in the outer valley. It did not choose to chase the retreating Xiaoyao sect monks all the time. It only chased for half a mile and then turned back to its original place. On the other side of the valley, the Xingqian sect monks led by Liu Zongping looked at a black giant python several dozen feet long not far away, and they also had a headache. After entering the inner valley, they found that there were many more monsters here than in the outer valley. They had killed at least a dozen level 2 monsters and 1 level 3 monster along the way. If they wanted to move forward, they had to kill this very difficult black python head-on. The black python was also a level 3 monster. It was not only powerful, but also could spit out poisonous smoke to confuse the enemy. Just now, a cultivator from the Xingqian sect accidentally died in the hands of this giant python, which also made other cultivators from the Xingqian sect more afraid of this monster. The same was true for the Lingyuan sect and other sects. There were many Taoist formations in the inner valley that could enter, but after entering, what could be obtained was basically a matter of luck. If you were lucky, the monsters you encountered along the way were weak, and the path you took would have more spiritual objects. If you were unlucky, you would encounter difficult monsters as soon as you entered, and it would be difficult for you to move forward, and you might even lose your life here, not to mention getting other spiritual objects inside. Although everyone took different paths, the final meeting point was in the middle of the inner valley. The biggest goal of everyone who entered the inner valley was there without exception. After seeing Song Qingming break the restrictions outside, Ho Feng came directly to the stone platform and carefully confirmed again whether the restrictions on it had been completely lifted. You did a good job. When you get inside, if you see any spiritual objects you want, you can tell me directly. It will be a reward for you. Isn't it enough to help you break the restrictions and open this magic circle? Do I have to go in with you? Song Qingming showed a puzzled look on his face. Ho Feng blinked and chuckled. I just heard from those who were about to enter the inner valley that there are many good things in it, and there are also many spiritual objects that can help you humans to form pills, so I asked you this question. I can only guarantee that if you follow me in, it will be easier for you to get the spiritual objects inside than for them. Of course, you can stay here and wait for me. This is not a task for you. You can choose for yourself. I still keep my word. Do you really keep your word? Hearing Song Qingming's words, Ho Feng did not answer him, but smiled and narrowed his eyes, turned around and walked towards the black entrance on the stone platform. Half an hour later, in a canyon, Song Qingming looked at several second-level monsters that appeared in front of him, and was about to ask Ho Feng if he could bypass them. Ho Feng took out a pill from her storage bag that looked bumpy and ugly black and said to him, "This is a special pill made by our demon clan. After you take it, your breath will be covered by the breath of the demon clan. As long as you don't move around, these low-level monsters should not actively attack you in a short period of time." Thank you so much, Senior. Song Qingming took the pill and took a look. He found that the pill looked very unfamiliar. It was indeed not like the ordinary pills he had seen. He took a little courage and swallowed it directly into his stomach without hesitation. After dealing with Ho Feng so many times, Song Qingming could also feel that although she had a strange temper like some high-level cultivators of the human race, she was generally credible and would not go back on her word. After all, his life and property, as well as the entire Song family, had basically been firmly controlled by her. For Ho Feng, there was really no need to make any more unnecessary moves and tamper with this. After taking the black pill, Song Qingming clearly felt that his body was gradually emitting a very strong fishy smell, just like that of an ordinary monster, which made him feel very uncomfortable. Chapter 225 The Demon King Attacks. After waiting for a while, seeing that Song Qingming, who had taken the pill, had finally gradually adapted to his current physical condition, Ho Feng nodded with satisfaction, and then took him to continue to move forward. The two of them ran out without concealing their whereabouts, and soon attracted the attention of the monsters in front of the valley. What surprised Song Qingming was that the monsters had obviously discovered the two of them, but they never attacked them, just staring at them closely. Song Qingming had been in the secret realm for so many days, and he knew that the monsters here would basically fight to the death when they saw people. The reason for this was mostly because of Ho Feng. Seeing that they were getting closer and closer to the second-level monsters in front, although he had taken the pills given to him by Ho Feng, Song Qingming was still a little worried. One hand was tightly attached to his storage bag, ready to face any possible emergencies at any time. What Song Qingming didn't expect was that when the two of them walked more than 10 feet away from the monsters had already begun to slowly retreat and took the initiative to make way for the middle road. Until the two of them passed through here, Song Qingming still couldn't believe what had just happened. They had just sent away those monsters so easily. Sure enough, no matter where the monsters were, they would be suppressed by the innate bloodline. This has never changed. Facing a powerful monster like the Fire Phoenix, these second-level monsters didn't even have the courage to test it. After successfully passing this place, the two walked 2 miles along the valley and soon walked into a relatively flat valley. As soon as they walked in, Song Qingming soon found that a mature second-level silver-leaf grass appeared not far ahead, and hurriedly stepped forward to pick it and put it in his storage bag. Just after putting away the spiritual medicine and not walking far forward, Song Qingming saw another second-level spiritual grass, and next to it was a red fruit tree with 7 or 8 spiritual fruits. He had just entered the inner valley, and he had so many harvests so quickly. Song Qingming's face was immediately full of joy. He didn't expect there were so many spiritual objects here, not to mention that these things came so easily to him. Song Qingming smiled bitterly in his heart when he recalled that he and Wang Shangxin had fought desperately with the demon beasts guarding the spiritual medicines for a few second-level spiritual medicines in the outer valley a few days ago, and they also had to worry about being targeted by other people in the secret realm. Seeing Song Qingming sweeping the various spiritual objects in the valley like a locust, Ho Feng couldn't help but frown and said to him sternly, "There will be more good things where we are going. Don't waste your time here, senior, you are such a big shot, so you are not short of spiritual objects needed for cultivation. My cultivation is low, and I don't have so many opportunities to obtain spiritual objects. Naturally, my life is a bit tight. I hope you can forgive me." Hearing that there was some displeasure in Ho Feng's tone, Song Qingming hurriedly nodded with a smile and caught up with her. Ho Feng rolled her eyes at him and said, "If I didn't need spiritual objects, why would I come here? Do you really think I'm bored and don't know how dangerous it is here? This senior, what exactly did you come here for that's worth taking such a big risk, for something very important to me, but don't ask any more questions. I'll tell you what you should know." Ho Feng looked up at Song Qingming with a cold face, and dispelled his thoughts of speaking again. Seeing her cold eyes, Song Qingming suddenly felt a chill on his body, and couldn't help but pause and slow down his pace. In this way, the two walked towards the depths of the inner valley. During this time, they encountered 7 or 8 waves of monsters, but they didn't dare to attack them when they saw Ho Feng, so they walked into the depths of the inner valley easily. Just when Song Qingming thought that they could reach their destination safely, a fierce roar suddenly came from the front of the two, and then the ground began to shake violently. Hearing this voice, Song Qingming suddenly felt that the situation was not good. Ho Feng, who was walking in front, also stopped and frowned. "We are in trouble. Be careful and don't run around." Ho Feng turned to Song Qingming with a serious face and ordered him, preparing to go forward alone to fight the enemy. "Senior, we don't know what is coming. Should we avoid it first?" Song Qingming reminded carefully. "Those people have entered the inner valley before us. We can't waste time here." Ho Feng shook her head calmly and flew directly from the ground to the air. Seeing that she had made a decision, Song Qingming didn't dare to persuade her anymore. He quickly retreated hundreds of steps and found a big tree to hide. Looking at the somewhat thin figure of Ho Feng in the sky not far away, Song Qingming suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart. Along the way, no matter what he encountered, Ho Feng always kept a confident face and never took those dangers to heart. This was the first time Song Qingming saw her look so cautious. Although she was quite powerful outside, now that she had entered this secret realm, her cultivation was definitely suppressed. Otherwise, with her strength, she would not have to avoid those monks from large sects to enter the inner valley. The rumbling sound was getting closer and closer, and Song Qingming had already seen the dust in the distance. When he got closer, Song Qingming could see clearly that the one who made such a big noise was a giant golden bull with a body more than 3 feet tall. Looking at this huge figure, even if Song Qingming was hiding in the distance, he could clearly feel a trace of huge pressure coming from him. That's right, the appearance of this monster and the powerful aura it exuded should be a 3rd-level Demon King in the Jiandan period. Seeing this golden bull Demon King, Song Qingming was so shocked that he opened his mouth and stuck to the big tree. He didn't expect that there would be a Demon King above the 3rd level in the inner valley of the secret realm. If he had known that there would be such a powerful Demon King, he should not have come in. Although the monsters in the secret realm were 3 times weaker than the monsters of the same level outside, this monster could be considered a 3rd-level monster king anyway. No wonder it was not suppressed by the Fire Phoenix's natural bloodline like the other 2nd-level monsters they had encountered before, and it directly killed the 2 of them. When the Fire Phoenix in mid-air saw the Taurus Monster King, which was hundreds of times larger than her, there was no fear on her face. She flew in front of it very calmly and shouted at it, "Get out of my way." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.